Office Radio.
The revolution is on. The studio doors are locked. This is a closed set. Will Murray.
If Julie was a wrestler, his finishing move would be called the crowbar.
Jason Kaplan.
Like, if I don't know what I want when the waiter shows up, it's just cheeseburgers. Very easy.
Their world.
The relationship has deteriorated. No.
Their life.
What is going on around here?
And the Howard Stern back office.
You were screaming and fighting and being drunk. No.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason. Call 888-STERN-101.
Show fucking blows. That was Scott DePace from the wrap-up show informing everybody that our show blows. Welcome to Back Office Radio. I am Jason Kaplan, joined as always by Will Murray.
Hello.
Teddy Knitter, across the way.
That's funny. That clip of Scott is so funny.
Yeah, we got to get in. We're gonna definitely get into that because I think everyone's mad at Scott from the wrap-up show. You included, Teddy.
Yeah.
You went on a tirade. What was that? What was that, Scott?
Show fucking blows. Show fucking blows. And of course, that's the great Al Ragone on the board there. I just tweeted out a picture. Somebody on Twitter asked for a picture of the Black Cloud Niner. Excuse me. And
You eat like before every show, and then you have all this shit in your throat when we start.
I know. Well, I don't know what else to eat. I was
you.
working. Anyway,
Are your headphones all messed up?
yeah, I didn't want to say that on air. That's why I was
not?
bumpering.
Fuck it.
But yeah, everything sounds weird to me.
We're in the Black Cloud Diner. Shit's gonna go wrong.
Jim McClure hates when we talk about technical issues on the air, which is why I was trying to pussyfoot around it. But yeah, it sounds horrible, and I just keep hearing I'm going to take the headphones off actually, and well, maybe one ear or something. Welcome to Back Office Radio. We are in Scott's studio where nothing ever works 100%. Give us a call 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. Will, we have a big show today. Obviously, we have Douche of the Week. We have our new page 69. We're going to check in with the queen of the back office, Tracy Millman, a little bit later in the show, who wasn't exactly thrilled with something I said on the last episode. And the Stern Show, our Stern Show Christmas party invites went out.
Yes.
So that's always big news around here. Big news in the back office. Who's going? Who are they bringing? How are they going to act?
It's probably the best party of the year, right? I mean,
it's by far the
best party I've ever been
Yeah,
to.
I mean, listen, Howard, when he rents out this really nice restaurant, it's got great food. Everybody goes. And all the Howard TV guys, all the radio guys you never see, guys you don't want to see, and everyone's drinking and everyone lets loose. And
For some reason, I just always expect it to go away every year, too. Don't you have that feeling? You're like, are we going to get the invite this year? Is it going to happen again?
Well, let's remind the audience why we have these Christmas parties. Real quick, Howard used to give us gifts every year. He used to give us really nice gifts, anything from personalized journals to DVD players to really nice watches. And then about 5 years ago, Lisa G complained. And she complained that Howard just got a generic gift for the newsroom and didn't get them individual gifts or something like that. So Howard, who was already...
Where's our gifts?
Yeah, where's our gifts? We work hard. We're on the team. So Howard was like, enough. I can't believe I buy gifts for people and I have other people bitching about it and complaining. So I won't buy individual gifts anymore. And instead he throws this party. Now the party's awesome and the party's fun. I am not complaining about the party. But, fuck you, Lisa G, for getting rid of... I mean, we used to get, like, TiVos and digital cameras and all sorts of awesome shit.
Can I be honest? Yeah. I prefer the party.
Yeah, me too.
It's just awesome.
It is awesome.
It's like top of the shelf, everything. He does it right.
Yeah, but I'm a tech guy, and Howard always got techie gifts or really personalized, like Howard Stern gets Teddy shaking his head.
No
over
way.
there.
I'd
That's
rather
like
sit there and slam $3 oysters.
That's
for an
literally
hour.
like a $250 a person event. Like, that's
it's unbelievable.
It's way better than a TiVo, Jason.
I am not complaining about the party. I
food,
love
Jason.
the party. You know what it is? They put all the good fish in the back, and you got to like wade through everybody to get it.
You're gonna walk all the way back.
No, it's
there,
not just the walk. It's you got every 5 seconds. That's
Hear
my
that?
stomach. Yeah.
Jason talking food.
Hey, I was like before the show. Al said, "How will I know when to play the Jason gurgling clip?" I'm like, "You'll just know.
You'll know.
You'll know."
Oh, so gross.
And what happens is all the way in the back of the restaurant, they have the shrimp and the sushi and the crab and the oysters. But you have to walk past everyone to get there. And I don't know about you, Will. Maybe you're not as personable as I am, but everyone's always stopping to talk to me and ask me how I'm doing, you know, and by the time I get back there.
Who are like some of the people you hate when they stop? You're like, oh God, please no.
Dan the song parody man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Pretty much anyone from Howard TV I don't know on a first name basis.
Yeah, there are a bunch. There's always like these Howard TV guys that you've never seen before in your life. You're like, who are you?
Yeah, and
Why
then
are you
their
here?
wives on top of that. So
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
But you know what's
who are
weird? they know us because they're not just fans of the show, but they're watching the show, they're editing the show. They feel like they live with us practically. And the
other thing I notice is that everybody has a girlfriend or wife that's way too hot for them.
Well,
not just the people that work here. Like, it goes beyond that. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either. We shouldn't talk about who has someone too good for them because almost everyone does. Yeah. Who's got the ugliest girl? Should we
oh, Jesus, dude.
I mean, let's.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we're going to be real.
I don't have the balls to go there, so
even Al is dating out of his league. I met Al's girlfriend at Teddy's wedding, and she's not really cute, really nice,
very cute, very sweet.
Yeah,
that's the next wedding, by the way.
Al, though. Oh, yeah, Al. When we going to your wedding, man?
Yeah, when are we doing this? Speaking of weddings, I do have to start the show by wishing my wife, Janice Kaplan, a very happy anniversary. It was 4 years ago today that she lost her mind and married me, and it was
lost
great.
Her mind, free gravy train, bro. What are you talking about?
I know Teddy was there, Will was
4
there.
4 years ago. Oh my God.
The great Howard Stern was there
at your wedding.
At my wedding, he wasn't at your wedding. I don't remember.
No, it was all of 2.5 hours away. Might as well have been the other side of the planet.
It was very cool because we all got married at around the same time. Will got married in September. Howard got married in October. I got married in November. Teddy, I want to know who had the better wedding. You were at my wedding and Will's wedding.
I wasn't at Will's wedding.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, let's bring up a sore subject.
It is a sore subject.
Yeah, let's bring that up. My parents died when I was 10. You want to talk about that?
No.
Are you equating not being invited to Will's wedding with your parents dying?
No, I'm kidding.
Things change a lot in 4 years.
We weren't
That's
friends.
all I can say.
They do. Hey, Al Ragone wasn't at my wedding.
We were not friends.
Yeah.
And Will, it's funny because we got to know each other a lot better over the last few years, and Will says it to me now every once in a while. He'll say, "Hey man, look, one of the biggest regrets I've ever had is not inviting you to my wedding."
I don't know if you have that, but there's people I wish I had never invited there.
I'm more like that. Like I go through the photo album now, and you pointed this out years ago, and I'm like my wife quit her job that she was working at about 6 months after our wedding.
Yeah.
But her entire office was there. So I look at these people, I go, I fucking hate you guys. I mean, he gave us a nice gift, so I can't complain that much. But I'm just like, what? I mean, you're all over the most important day in my life. And there's a bunch of strangers that Janice now hates. I'm sorry, John, I'm not going to put words in her mouth.
Oh,
yeah. I have very good feelings at her last job, 2 jobs ago. But anyway, so happy anniversary to my wife. It's interesting that we're doing a radio show today, Will, because that's how I met Janice. In fact, I thought I'd take a second to tell you quickly. The first time she ever met me, she came with a bunch of her friends to my dorm room because one of her friends wanted to borrow a movie from me. I was in one of my very depressed stages, and I was actually laying in my bed.
Pre-Lexapro.
Laying in my bed with my shirt off. Now, I wasn't as fat as I am now.
That could depress her, actually.
Right. I'm not as fat as I am now, but I was, heavy. And I just had a bag of Tostitos opened, and I had crumbs all over me. And so my door knocks, and it's my friend, I don't remember his name, and I go, oh, you can just open the door. I didn't know he had a ton of fucking people with him. And he opens the door, and I'm just laying there shirtless with Tostito crumbs in my chest hair and my shoulder
full
hair.
Nacho chips caught in his chest hair.
And I see this girl with a beautiful face, and I was like, oh, fuck. I looked like I was caught jerking off, like I lifted my blanket up, to cover my chest. And
she goes, oh, look at those boobs.
That's the man I'm going to marry.
Right.
So we didn't really talk much. I just saw her there, but she definitely got on my radar. Then we started talking, and I found out not years later, actually, that she thought I was gay. That she was just convinced I was gay, like the first few times we talked to each other, yeah.
You give off that vibe, I guess, a little bit.
Everyone in high school thought I was gay.
Yeah.
It's the list.
Or going to kill them.
Yeah, or both.
Why is that? Oh, because he wore a trench coat?
Yeah, he wore the black trench coat and didn't talk to anybody.
Before Columbine. Okay, I wore the black trench coat pre-Columbine. I wasn't following the fad. Those assholes followed me. And, once I saw how it worked out for them, I was like, oh, fuck this. Yeah, so we met, but anyway, we met on the radio, meaning, I brought her down to watch me do my college radio show, and she was actually impressed by that. And she was referring to me as the radio guy, like, oh, that's Jason, the radio guy.
You're like a celebrity.
I was like, oh, she was very, well, Howard, it was Howard's advice. And I didn't work here, but Howard said, always let a girl see what you're best at. So for me, that's eating, jerking off, or being on the radio.
And using your voice, which I don't know if anybody would say that's your best quality.
She's seen all 3, hasn't she?
Fortunately for her. Yeah, and then eventually we started dating, and, I ripped off Howard's bit of checking a girl's breasts for breast cancer awareness, and she let me do that on my radio show, so that was hot.
She got some big bombs, too.
She has huge bombs. Huge bombs.
What size are her boobs?
Oh, double D.
Okay.
I would
almost say bigger.
When she loses weight, they're a D, but when I see, that's why the Lisa G thing drives me crazy, because my wife's boobs are 10 times bigger than Lisa G's, but her bra size is a double D. So I don't know how that works out. Maybe some girl could call in and figure, whatever.
Because Lisa is lying.
Oh,
Not
okay.
lying, but she doesn't have double D's.
Anyway, happy anniversary to my wife, and Will, your anniversary was a couple months ago. Happy anniversary to you.
Yes.
And how's the deal now? Your power was knocked off during the hurricane, and then it came back on, and then some asshole drove into a pole and knocked your
Yeah,
electricity
yesterday
out
we
again.
were out again. But you know what? I'm not even going to whine about power because people in Long Island still don't have power. I hear the Goodsteins every day. My house is like a hotel. I have 7 families living in my basement. And it can't be easy. So
No, it
I'm not
can't
going
be
to whine
easy.
about that.
Yeah, who are these people that can't live without electricity? By the way, Jens and I lived a week without electricity.
Everybody.
Well, we survived Monday till Sunday with no electricity.
No, I
and
think
people
it's-
kept saying like, "Oh, come to our house," and it was very nice to have the offers.
I
but
think it's heat, Jason.
well, what we didn't have heat either. I don't know.
Yeah, but you got a lot of fur. You're very
You have
warm. You're
insulation.
insulated. Exactly.
You know what? Buy a sweatshirt. I mean, get out of Doug's house.
It is
I mean,
weird.
For Christ's
Like,
sake.
did you notice that your daily habits kind of changed
Yeah.
without electricity? Like you wanted to go to bed way earlier.
I was exhausted by 6:30 every night of every night of the electricity.
I was having the conversation with you, right, about Karl Marx and how he says, electricity and
Humans are too removed from nature, that we
Right.
live in concrete jungles, and that our bodies are no longer in sync with the natural order of things.
I think it just means you have to drink like whiskey or red wine, things you don't need to refrigerate.
of course you do.
Hey, Josh in upstate New York, I'm assuming. Welcome to Back Office Radio.
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
Hey, listen, I just had a question, man. I'm a fan of the show, fan of all yours, but were you picked on and beat up in school for the type of person that you are?
No, and I will answer this directly. I wasn't the person I am now in high school because because of the Lexapro and now even because of the meditation, I feel like a completely, not different person, but the outward Jason is different than the outward Jason was in high school. I was very quiet.
You're different even than when we lived together.
Right. Yeah. I was
Like you
very
never
quiet.
got out. You would never leave your room. Your bedroom door was always closed.
I was very similar, and you could attest to this, Will, to JD. Not as hardcore as JD. Like JD won't go anywhere, but I was depressed. I was very bad socially. I didn't like leaving the apartment. I didn't bite my hand off. No, I didn't eat my hand off. Yeah.
And
but
now
I
you're
do-
the same size.
well, JD's trying to catch up to me. He looks up to me. I'm his boss. I wear blazers, and I got my shit together. So I was more ignored in high school than anything else. I would say, I mean, obviously there were a few run-ins, like anybody would have in school, but I wasn't picked on. there was no bully that I was scared of to go to school to. If anything, I was ignored.
It's just funny when we'll talk about, the glory days of high school. And Jesus Christ, I had fucking cancer in high school and I still have lots of great stories. It's all my best friends, are from high school, and I still love thinking about going to those parties, and all that. And you're like, I have no good memories from high school.
No, none. In fact, the fact that you said anybody who says they have glory high school days
Right.
are assholes. Fuck you.
What?
High school's a piece of shit.
You're like, why would anyone ever want to go back to that?
Why? It's the worst time in your life. You're
No,
trapped
that's wrong.
in a.
You're so wrong.
You're
See,
trapped
people
in
have
a.
different experiences.
So wrong. I'd cut off this pinky right now if you could send me back.
JD
Are you
would eat
serious?
it.
Wait a second, guys, take
Dead
a step
serious,
back.
yeah.
Take a step back. We're in Midtown Manhattan. We're on Howard Stern's channel. You're married with a wife. You're married with a kid and a house in New Jersey. This is the best time. Right now is the best time.
No, it is, but it's going really fast. It's getting faster and faster and faster.
There's a lot
and-
more
and,
responsibilities.
yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me? I would deal with my work responsibilities way before high school. High school, I used to have a knot in my stomach every morning before I went in. I hated it.
Yeah, anxiety was a lot higher, but
I think you romanticize things, when you look back on
I
them.
don't.
But like going to those parties out in fields in the middle of nowhere,
Oh, so
and
much
like
fun.
just drinking and having no responsibility, playing wiffle ball with my buddies, like
No.
it didn't get better than that.
I went to
That
those
was it.
parties in the woods, and they were always cold, and somebody was always worried a cop was going to come by.
girls had pubic hair. It was fun, man. I had a good time.
It's a different time. No, fuck high school, and fuck people who like high school. Fuck, you know what? I'm going to make you and Will my douche of the week, Daddy.
I wish we went to high school with you. That's all.
Will and I
throw
talk about
things
this
at
all the
him.
time. If Will and I went to high school together, there's no way we would have been friends.
No.
I mean, our circles would not have. I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. I was very just depressed and to myself. Fuck everybody.
Sounds fun.
Speaking of fuck everybody, let's do State of the Office. We had a big week. Oh, hit the State of the Office.
State of the Office.
All right, we had a big week this week. Let's go to story number 1.
Last week, Howard had everyone in the back office on edge when he questioned their dependability.
I need to know who's going to be here.
But Howard,
get
there's
here,
a
no
whole
one's
subtext
here.
to it that you're not really being honest
Gary,
about.
Gary, you're being dishonest.
No,
you're
you're being
attacking
dishonest.
me. I need to know who's going to be here.
How much, if any, of that stress carried over into this week? Does anyone still feel guilty? Was Gary looking over his shoulder all week? Or did the back office experience a calm after the storm?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think it was the calm after the storm this week in the office. The election kept everyone a little bit on edge, but I think things were in the red. The needle was in the red last week. I think everybody was ready to kill somebody for over anything, and I feel everything went back a little bit more normal for us this week. What do you think, Will?
No, I agree. It's funny because we always talk about here that, everyone says we take a lot of vacations, but let me tell you, they're needed, especially this stretch right now. I think we haven't had a vacation since September.
10 weeks straight.
10 weeks, right. Yeah. And people are literally ready to kill each other. And then you throw in, the worst storm of the century. And yeah, like you said, the needle is going all the way over.
The way to the
people
red.
are ready to kill each other, especially, when it's Howard kind of causing some of the friction. So it was almost a relief this week that everybody could get to work on time and that, there was no kind of bullshit that you had to deal with, although we had a nor'easter last night, but at least that, wasn't involved with the show.
That's so stressful. I was here doing Superfan late last night, and Tim was like, if you need to take a cab home, take a cab, we'll take care of it. But it got to the point where during Superfan, the tweets are coming out to like Hoboken, they're closing down streets. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's so stressful. And anyone who's ever been through that scenario knows what I'm talking about. There's nothing you could do. We still don't have heat in our house. So I'm thinking of my wife freezing
You
to
still
death.
don't have heat?
No, there's something, the super's been out twice now, or our heat's not working. I don't know what's going on.
Thank God you're built like a bear.
On Monday, though, Will, I got to tell you, Gary was fidgety. Gary was just waiting for the hammer to drop. He was still nervous. He was still acting like it was the week before. And the hammer never dropped.
No.
But Gary, Monday, and I think even into Tuesday, was overly stressed.
Right. A week looking back on it now, any regrets about staying home on Tuesday?
No, not one.
Right. Okay. I kind of feel the same way, but we'll move on.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. But I was there was a part of me, you have like these fantasies sometime. And one of my fantasies, I thought maybe Howard would like actually say something on there like, hey, I was a little hard on my staff last week or something.
He'll never do that.
He'll never do that. But that's fine. You know what? I wouldn't want him to apologize. Fuck that. Fuck apologizing. Teddy, how about you? How you doing? How are you holding up after the storm?
Great. Like I said,
you were able to light your cigarettes in the wind now?
Everything calmed down.
Thank God.
And,
you got that kid off your couch?
My refugees are gone, and everything's good, yeah. So, and I was here all week, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Guys, I'm telling you now, this show is
hard worker, that Teddy.
This show is not the Howard Stern show. It's not written. It's not planned. But the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving, that will be the last show before we go on break. It's the first break we would have had in about 8 weeks, which I know doesn't sound a lot to people.
Yeah, everyone's like, shut the fuck up.
But what happens is, literally, the last day before break, everybody is on edge. Everybody is on edge. And I think it's part excitement, like it feels like, Friday before spring break or something. I think it's part just like, everyone just lets go and all their stress just rises to the top. They keep it bottled down all week long. And something will happen. Something always happens.
Those are the shows where Ronnie will wrestle Sal in the hallway, I got a huge fight with Scott DePace before last Christmas break. It got ugly. I was like so angry at him.
What were you guys fighting over? Do you remember?
It was just something stupid. He was angry about, us putting up notes or not giving a heads up that somebody was on the phone, and I just had enough of bullshit.
We know Scott. I know that was what Scott. He uses his camera to look at the phone call screen and all that stuff. Hey, Bill in Massachusetts, you have a comment about the pace?
Yeah, it's Phil, by the way. It's all right, though.
All right.
And not a big deal.
Hey, Phil.
I was going to say, is the pace going to go postal on everybody, you think, or?
He might go. That's a good point, Bill.
Do you? Will, you're out of everyone in this room, the pace the best.
No, he's not going to go postal. Although yesterday was probably one of the angriest I have seen him.
We're going to talk about that later in the show. So let's save some of our comments. And Al, why don't we go to State of the Office number 2?
Tuesday's presidential election didn't bring much hope and change to the Stern Show compound. Just more partisan bickering. Scott DePace tried his best to hide his ballot blues before going ballistic on the wrap-up show.
Allow me to tell you how the economy works. When the whole economy
I asked about
goes down,
it's
that
a very
affects
simple
me.
question, Jared. No,
I'm answering you. You won't listen to me. If the economy is bad everywhere,
I understand that.
I get affected.
How did the rest of the office handle the election results? Were other staffers as disappointed as Scott? And why is Scott such a crybaby?
Why is Scott such a crybaby, Will?
I don't know. It was weird yesterday. We went to bed Tuesday night. I didn't know who was going to be president. I don't know if you stayed up for the election results.
I stayed up to the Ohio result, and then everyone called it for Obama.
But I kind of went to bed thinking, all right, hopefully it's Obama. But, if it's Romney, it's Romney. No, it's not going to change my life that much.
We lived through this. In 2004, I was very confident that John Kerry would win the presidency. I was like, how could somebody possibly vote for George Bush again? Mm-hmm. And he didn't win. And I was upset. I was disappointed more than anything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck, this sucks. But I didn't come in here blasting people. I didn't come in here all angry. It's just very weird how Scott acts. Nobody went to Scott to gloat in front of his face, as far as I know.
No,
I didn't go down. I didn't see Scott to the wrap-up show.
Right, that's what I was going to say. So I wake up Wednesday morning, see Obama won. I'm relieved, pretty happy, but, not like fucking, climbing the walls or anything. Hey, great.
The lesser
come in
of two
here
evils.
and, John Lieberman goes, hey, Scott wants you to come back there to pay him. And already I'm annoyed. I'm like, why do I have to go to him? Why he can't come back and pay me? So I go and meet him over in the control room. That's where they do Howard TV. And he goes, here's your money, boy, and just drops it on the boy in front. Yeah, boy. He kept throwing in boy.
Boy.
Like I'm some kind of asshole.
Yeah.
And I said, I just stepped over. I go, you know what? I'm not going to pick up your fucking money, dude.
Good.
It's not that important to me. I thought we were having a friendly bet, and I can see that you're clearly really angry about this whole thing. So, thanks. And I guess Lieberman picked it up later.
And was it all singles, by the way? 'Cause I saw a ton of
there was
singles.
like 10 singles in it. He was trying to be funny with that. I don't know. It's weird. Listen, I love Scott. I really do. He's one of my good friends. Personally, he's been great to me. He's been really nice to me with my house. He's
Did he owe you money for your house? Because you keep saying this. You say I owe Scott. You imply that Scott did something for you years ago.
Well, no. Listen, we looked at the house. I know a little about houses, but Scott's pretty good with that kind of shit. And so he came in and he inspected the house and said, yeah, it looks pretty good. He gave us a ton of stuff. He gave us like a $200 ladder when we came in. He gave me a bunch of crap. And if I have any questions about my house, he's always been very helpful about it.
That's nice because what I see in the office is him making fun of you for like.
Well, then, he got on my fucking case about a few things. I don't know. I'm a first time homeowner. I'm sorry. I get a little worked up about little shit. And I don't know everything right off the bat. But, he can be a jerky at times. But overall, we are good friends. Good. And like everybody else with Scott, I have my moments. So it's hard for me to trash him. But yeah, yesterday, he was just being an angry dick about it.
I was actually, when I didn't see Scott all day until the wrap-up show, I thought that Scott was in the same place I was after the Kerry election, or Kerry loss, which was disappointed and just kind of like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, what can you do? Let it go. So, I was actually impressed by that until I heard him on the wrap-up show and I was sitting in the back office. I was like, oh my God, he's a fucking maniac still. I hear him, he's comparing the election to his high school election and telling Gary that this is how the economy works. If the economy is bad, it affects me. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. You are good friends with him, as you said. You were on the wrap-up show. You are very politically savvy. You read, you're up on current events, and you disagree with some of the stuff that the Pace says about politics. And I know after this wrap-up show, Scott called you in to lecture you or have some sort of conversation with you about how you go against him. And it seems to me that every single time you go against Scott in any way on the wrap-up show, he's got to pull you aside afterwards and have some long talk with you.
Yes, that's true to a certain degree. Yesterday, that wasn't the case. He wanted to show me, I guess I was arguing that the taxes involved in Obamacare would not affect him. And and then he showed me proof, supposedly, that they would from one of his websites that he would never believe if I showed him.
Yeah,
if I showed him an article from CNN, he'd go, that's liberal horse shit.
If you send Scott an article from a Huffington Post or CNN or New York Times or CBS or NBC or basically anything that's not Fox News, but he will send out articles from websites that no one's ever heard of, written by people that no one's ever heard of.
It was called angrytaxpayers.com or some shit like that, Oh, right. They're not partisan at all. I get it, Scott.
That's what Scott
I think there's part of Scott, though, that really is happy that Obama won because it's much easier for him. He loves to rail on Obama more than defend the policies of like a Republican. I know by the time George Bush left office, he was exhausted. He's like, fine, you know what? Take the fucking White House, and you can deal with having to defend this horse shit all the time.
Well, because even Rush Limbaugh, by the time the Bush's last 2 years in office, said, I'm sick of carrying water for this guy. He sucks. I've been lying about how good he is.
Right. It's much easier to criticize Obama for the policies that he puts in place and say, oh, look, none of them are working. The economy's not gotten better than it is for him to defend Romney if things didn't get better.
But this is the difference between Scott DePace and a more level-headed conservative or liberal, which is, I don't anticipate being exhausted by the end of Obama's next term because I can admit when Obama doesn't do well. I can say, yeah, I'm pissed off at the fact that Guantanamo Bay is open. I'm pissed off at the fact that he's still trying to crack down on weed use for some reason, even though he said he wasn't. You know, so when you blindly defend stuff, even though you don't believe in it, that's exhausting.
I've always said that he sees politics as sports.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
As it's my team versus your team. It's always teams.
Teams, right.
And he'll defend them to no end. And, you know, he'll say otherwise, but I don't think I see politics that way. You know, you're looking for the most practical solution to a problem, and he'll never see it that way. And arguing with him, it just makes no difference. You may as well argue with the wall.
Right. And being on the team, by the way, you know, in this new era of extreme conservatism, you know, you can't even be a moderate conservative. If you are, you're not on the team anymore. You might as well be a player on the Yankees saying that, hey, I don't mind the Red Sox.
Right.
Yeah, they're okay team.
That's exactly what it's like.
And it's like, get out of our clubhouse. Fuck you. Jay in Boston, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Oh, hey, you guys picked up on me?
Yeah, I picked up on you, man. What's going on?
Oh, hey, Jason, you're still a cunt. Just wanted to say, for some reason you guys are cutting off on my phone, but I don't know if you guys are up to douche of the week, but I just want to know, who's the asshole in the back office who let Eric the Midget through to the fucking show?
Well,
I don't
all
know
of us.
about you guys, but I'm ready
Howard's the asshole.
Yeah, I mean, we don't screen. I mean, well, you handle it. You do the phone more
Listen,
than I
we
do.
screen phone calls. We have a bunch of lines up, and there is a back office number that we call and put up the Whack Packers. And Howard chooses who he puts on the air. We have no decision in that. In fact, he would probably get angry if he knew we were cutting people off because we didn't think they were good callers, you know? He wants to be the guy that makes that choice.
Rob in Kentucky, welcome to Back Office Radio.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
I was going to say shower shoes, but I want to change mine for douche of the week. Let's go with Scott also. And Jason's a close second.
I'll take it. Thank you. All right, so that's Sour Shoes for Douche of the Week. So Scott paid his boy the $100 bet.
Yes.
By throwing the money on the ground. Is this it? Are you done betting with Scott now?
No, we actually have a new bet.
What's the new bet?
The new bet, and again, this is for like political nerds. I say the federal deficit won't reach $19 trillion by the end of Obama's second term.
I would say you're in a good position.
We'll see.
I think
How
you have a
much?
good
How much
position.
the bet?
Another $100. I didn't even want to take his $100. Like I said, he's done a lot of good things for me. I felt bad. I was like, listen, why don't we just go out to lunch? We'll play a round of golf. That'll be on you, and we'll call it a day. But he's like, I don't want your charity. Like, everything gets all fucking angry. It's like, all right, you know what? I'll just step away then. Thank you.
We have a DePace defender. Tom, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hey, boys, one of my favorite shows. So, not that I'm a big DePace defender because I believe in all the politics he does, but he's so weak in his arguments. I mean, the reason he's lashing out is he doesn't know how to argue with you guys with actual facts, like Will was saying.
Right.
And so the other thing is, he's the only conservative in a den of liberals. So, you know, for him to walk in the day after the Super Bowl in politics and like you said, his team lost. Well, he's the only one rooting for that team.
I get it, but nobody was going in front of him to gloat. It wasn't like, let's say he is a Chargers fan, and let's say the Chargers lost the Super Bowl. It wasn't like anyone came in and was like, hey, Scott, fuck the Chargers. Even me.
Jason, you know, all you have to do is breathe in front of DePace,
Right.
and you're now gloating.
Sometimes that makes it worse, by the way. When you don't gloat.
I know. It is bad. And I'll say another thing, and Tom brings up a great point. I know you have conservative friends. I have I have some friends that are more conservative than
I like an
DePace.
intelligent,
Right.
conservative argument.
I mean, Scott, for all of his political faults in my mind, he's pretty liberal on some social areas, compared to some other people I know who are anti-abortion and anti-this and pro-gun, everything.
Well, it doesn't come from religion. That's why.
Right. But these are people, even though you don't agree with them, they can articulate why they think that way, and you don't have to agree. People don't have to agree on everything. It's fine to not agree on something. But Scott just screams on the top of his lungs nonsense. And I would imagine that, like Donald Trump, yeah, you're doing the conservatives a great disservice, Scott. A great disservice. And if I was, forget the liberals hating Scott, if I was conservative, I'd want Scott to shut the fuck up. It's like, dude, you're not Rush Limbaugh, okay? Even Rush Limbaugh can figure out how to put an argument together. Crazy argument.
They're both bald and use drugs. So. Or used to. Used to, sorry.
Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. I'll tell you what, with that, why don't we go out to a break? Coming up, we have Douche of the Week nominees. We all talked before the show. We all can't make a Scott the Pace, so we'll all have different douches a week. But we want to hear from you. 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. We'll be back with Back Office Radio only on Howard 101.
You're listening to Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. We can't stand Tommy from Malden just as much as you. Back Office Radio with Will and Jason.
Am I the only one that likes Tommy?
Come on, man. It's an easy joke. I love it.
Tommy, I like you.
I think he told Steve, by the way, Steve Brandano, that, like, the show means everything to him.
Oh.
And if we didn't like him, he would consider killing himself or something ridiculous.
Stop that. You know what's weird? Steve,
we love you, Tommy.
Yeah, we love you, Tommy.
You're a great guy, very fulfilled life.
Steve and he are fine now, but they used to have like a little beef, and Steve was creeped out because he's like, he knows Tommy from Malden, and I guess it's close to where Steve lives, and I don't know, so Steve was creeped out by it, and then over the summer I actually went to Steve's house, and you turn off the block, and and there's a big sign, "Welcome to Malden." I was like, "Oh yeah, I get it. He really does live like right on top of you."
Tommy lives. We don't like him.
Hey,
dopey Boston fights.
By the way, hey, Teddy, Al, and Will, you were in Tim's programming meeting the other day. What the fuck is going on with David Height's hair? I mean, can we just talk about this for a second?
Wow. Back up. Explain who he is.
Okay, David Height is the guy who runs the tapes team. And actually...
He's an accomplished dude.
Oh, I like David. He's very smart. He puts out a lot of great stuff. He's got a great team down there.
He was behind all the VH1, what's it?
Behind the Music.
Behind the Music.
Is that what they're called, Behind the Music? No, I don't think it's Behind the Music.
Or the I Love the 80s.
Whatever, whenever they have those big talking head specials.
I was part of the team that helped hire that position, and I interviewed David back, I don't know, but I guess 7 years ago, and it was the first time I had ever seen someone with a faux hawk. I had never seen a faux hawk at that point. And I was
never seen it before?
No, I mean, it was 6-7 years ago, and all of a sudden this guy comes in with like normal length hair that for some reason was all pushed up in the middle. I was like, what a douche. I'm like, what is going on? But then I started noticing.
He was a pioneer.
Yeah, but then I started noticing them everywhere. Like, I didn't even know what it was. I was explaining it to someone, and they go, oh, that's a faux hawk. I'm like, well, okay. But now he's
and you hate mohawks, by the way.
I fucking hate mohawks.
Jason, when he went to camp as a kid, there was some kid with a mohawk who everyone thought was really cute, and he used to pick on Jason all the time.
Yeah. Oh, is that why? That's the truth.
Yeah. No, that's the truth. I was at camp, and this kid, he was one of those kids that looked 4 years younger than he actually was, so all the girls were like, oh, he's so sweet, oh, he's so...
Meanwhile, Jason looks like a grown man.
Yeah, I look like a grown man.
He's a full beard.
You should have gone back to your tent and made a faux hawk with your back hair and called it like a dorsal fin or something.
Dorsal fin. I have a faux dorsal fin. I have a faux fin. A faux fin.
You think that's hot?
Anyway, Jason's always hated mohawks ever since then.
So now David comes into the meeting the other day, and he has his hair just spiked straight up, like he just put his hand in a bunch of mousse, and just... Anyone ever watch Ancient Aliens? The guy is just slipping my name for a second. His name is slipping my head for a second, but I'll get it. But the Ancient that's what... He's got the Ancient Aliens haircut. He just spiked his hair straight up, like he's actually still stuck in the middle of Hurricane Sandy.
You gotta slow down with the TV references. I don't watch anything that's not on network television, and barely then.
You guys remember him from Richie Wilson's wedding. He was there.
Oh. Thank you.
Again.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Boy, this wedding talk is going nowhere.
It's awful.
And no, I didn't go to Howard's wedding either.
Howard's wedding was excellent.
That was a cool wedding.
Oh, yeah. What makes you say that?
I was at Howard's wedding, and Will was in the annex next to Howard's wedding. It was very...
Are we? Yeah, exactly. Are we done shitting on David's haircut?
Well, does anyone have an answer? What the fuck's going on with David Height's hair?
He's just hanging on to you.
It's a look.
Yeah, it's a look.
He works at a rock station. What was the guy that we used to have the PD over at K-Rock? You know what I'm talking about with the blonde hair, Mike
Kinston. Oh my God, Mike P. We'll call him. I can't remember his last
whatever
name.
His name was. But there's these guys. I think like every rock station has one of them, and they try and hold on to their youth as long as they can. So they're 45 years old, and they still got the cool kind of haircut. And they're wearing, like the Ross Apin look. They try to really hold on to that youth.
Yeah, he looked, you know what? Now that you mention it, I think he looked a little douchier than David Height. Because he looked a lot older than David and still had that short bleached blonde hair.
Yes.
And always had some young girl in his office. Not anything inappropriate, but you know who else was a douchebag? Was Steve Kingston. He used to dress like a 15-year-old.
And Jason finds another way to not work when he gets done the job.
Well, Steve Kingston's a radio guy. Whatever, Steve. Don't hire me. I don't give a shit. You weren't very nice to me when we worked together. And he was one of these guys that's like in his 50s or 40s, and he's short, but he dressed like a hip hopper, like baggy pants and sweatshirts and backwards hats. And I was like, shut up, douchebag.
Oh my.
Speaking of douchebag, let's get to Douche of the week. Will, you have a long one here, so let's go to your nomination for a douche of the week.
All right, this is kind of gross, but you know what? We tell the truth here on Back Office Radio.
Yeah.
So earlier this week, I had to make a number 2. It happens to the best of us. Lisa G even admits she'll shit at work.
Happens to the worst of us.
So I go in there. You know, you're already kind of embarrassed. You don't want to do it at work, but you know, duty calls. So I'm doing my business, and I flush the toilet, and I wash my hands, and I walk out the door, and there's a fucking film crew waiting outside for me. Shuli comes running in with his microphone. Greg Carmel has his camera with the spotlight on, going through the toilet bowl to look for any kind of remnants. And yeah,
what was that about?
A little something there, a little Drew Brees birthmark in the bottom of the can.
You looked a little
I'm
skid
sorry,
mark?
all right?
But what was it this time?
So it was
Why-
fucking Ronnie. I don't know if he was waiting to use the bathroom. He has nothing better to do but sit out there in the hallway and stare at the wall. So he decided, oh, this must be my huge story of the day. Will's been in there more than 3 minutes, which means he must be shitting. So he gathers everybody, and they all come over.
God.
It's like a whole fucking press conference because I had to take a shit.
Had you pissed him off or something?
No, I didn't do anything to him. But it was him. You know, he's trying to be funny.
And didn't the news run a huge shitting story on you recently?
Well, they ran one a couple weeks ago because I shit right before Miss Howard TV came in there, and I feel bad about that. I'm sorry for stinking up the room.
Yeah.
We have to change.
You got to get on a new schedule, man. I mean,
that's what happens. You know, you sometimes you're on a good schedule, and then sometimes you go in the middle of the day, and then you just like that for the rest of the week.
Oatmeal.
I have a different take on that. You eat too healthy. That's why your shit stinks.
I don't know. It's not about
true.
shit stinking. It shit stinks. Everyone's shit stinks. But
Mine tastes like mine smells like McDonald's.
well, again, great. We can test it next time you take. You know, it was sad when Jason and I used to live together. I could literally tell.
No,
I could tell your shits from other shits.
No, can you
I'm
really?
serious. I could.
Like from outside the bathroom?
No, like I would go in the bathroom here at work where
Right.
anybody could use it, and I go, oh, Jason just shit in here.
Aw.
There's not a doubt in my fucking mind.
We're like those girls who live
Oh, yeah,
together.
here's
and
another one of these dickhead fuckers right here.
We're like
Julie.
those girls that live together and they get their periods at the same time.
No,
like,
we're nothing
you know
like
my
that.
shit smell.
We're nothing like that.
I was just thinking that.
But it was, so I don't want to give blame to the wrong person. It was Ronnie who gathered the media circus right outside the fucking
What happened
bathroom.
was I was back here interviewing Ronnie on a completely different story, and when I was done interviewing him, he started bitching about somebody's in this bathroom and they're taking a long time in there.
And by long time, I think I was in there literally 3 to 4 minutes.
It was longer than a piss.
Well, yeah, of course.
All right, so that's what he was bringing up, and so I waited. I figured because back here, I thought there was kind of an unwritten rule
That if you're
between
taking a shit,
coworkers.
you
that-
deserve a press conference.
That you don't shit in that bathroom.
See, this
you
is
walk
what I
down,
find
you
weird.
walk down to the other bathroom and shit in there.
Because now I'm angry for you. Like, I thought, when you kind of half explained the story to me, Will, that, you know, Ronnie was in the middle of busting your balls and you were busting
No.
his ball. So all you did was take a shit.
No,
That's
exactly.
all you did. And you walked out to a press conference.
It's just not a good place to shit. One time, this
Yeah,
was like
that's
maybe
right.
a year ago, Tracy Millman had to use the bathroom and I was in there.
Right.
And like, I was taking a shit again. I'm sorry. That's what I do here sometimes.
Sometimes.
And I come out and she goes, you flushed 3 times. And I'm like, were you out there the entire time I was doing this?
Well, in
Like,
all fairness, I saw you flush once there, and it looked like a crime scene.
no, it
when
was
you did that.
one little birthmark. It was fine. It was cute. Like I said, like an angel kiss. I think that's what Drew Brees
Yeah.
says.
You know,
Yeah.
venturing into dangerous territory talking about Tracy, but that was one of the problems Tracy and I used to have. I felt that she was way too consumed with my bathroom habits. Like, she would walk in and announce what it smelled like, or she like, you left a shit. Like, she would just yell it in the hall. I'm like, yo, leave me alone with the bathroom.
We're going to bring her in later,
Yeah,
so
leave
let's
me-
not scare her off yet. But
I just want
anyway,
to say there is a MO around here that yet again Will Murray blaming everyone else for his actions.
wait, how am I
The
blaming
news
anybody?
fault, the Howard TV's fault,
Like, I think
everybody's
he's just saying
fault,
he's
Except-
annoyed by it.
except for the guy who runs in and drops a deuce in the bathroom that nobody else drops a deuce.
Well, how is
in.
that? Not, everybody shits in that bathroom. You kidding me? Gary has a fucking magazine rack in there.
Listen, all I'm saying is last week you shit
Gary
in there
got porn
and the
in there.
Howard
Yeah.
TV girl went in there after you and almost collapsed.
Right.
And now this week there was a line of people waiting to use
Right.
the bathroom and you come out again. So
Hey, Tony
you
in Detroit, welcome to Back Office Radio.
gotta take some
I
responsibility. sometimes.
love Back Office Radio, but as much as I love it, I fucking hate Shuli, and the idea that he's in that studio again. He comes into every show. I fucking hate you, Shuli. You're Bobo. You stalk the show. Every fucking show.
It hurts. It hurts that you have to call into these shows and I can just walk right in, doesn't it?
Bothers you, right?
And you say the same comeback when someone talks shit about you. Why do people say so much about me, but the people who love me don't say anything?
Well, it's a dead-on impression, sir, and I thank you for that.
You have been getting like a lot of blowback for some reason.
Yeah. Listen, when you climb the ladder,
That's
the
what
higher you
happens.
get, the more the hater. And I got news
Hey,
for
you're
you.
telling me.
The people who hate me listen more to than the people who
Yeah.
like me. They
I think
know.
you handle it well, though.
But it's
all you can do.
It is interesting because like I love Julie and I love that he's getting all these opportunities and he spends way too much time on our show. But otherwise, no, I'm just kidding. But otherwise, I genuinely am happy for him. But there is, and Will, we could talk about this honestly. There is, whenever somebody gets something in the office or they get singled out for praise, your initial fucking response is to get angry.
Is to hate them.
To hate them. And he didn't do anything wrong. Right. Oh, so-and-so wrote a great joke and Howard points it out. And he's just like, all you can think about is, well, why the fuck didn't he point out my great joke? Well, who the fuck is this guy? Fuck this guy. He was an intern 2 years ago.
That's the problem. If you come from the bottom up,
Right.
as opposed from like the top down, like Artie had a film career at least
Right.
before he came here.
No, this is the
But if you're
studio
like the
film of
guy that
bottom
was
up
working in a
people.
liquor store and then calling into the show, and then suddenly you're in the fucking Artie chair, of course people are going to be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
What happened?
This is a room full of barnacles.
Yeah.
We are all attached to the SS Stern.
Exactly. It's the only place where they're going to hold a fucking, like I said, press conference when you take a shit.
But as Shuli, I know like Shuli, when you ride, the cream rises to the top and all the curdled milk you leave behind gets pissed at you. So, that's what happened.
We're curdled milk?
No, you're with us.
Oh,
everyone
good.
in this room is good.
I think you're talking about Will shit again.
No,
Sorry.
Last week on our show, Shuli, before we let you go, we talked a lot about your wife's breasts and how good they looked in the Simpsons t-shirt. I think you were initially surprised that I remembered what shirt she was wearing, and then it turned out that Will and Steve and just about anyone else who ran into her. Did she hear it? What does she think? And is there any follow-up to that?
Well, of course, everybody on Facebook starts hitting her up, going, they're talking about your tits on Back Office Radio, which is a message every wife wants to get. And I call her after the show, and I go, she goes, "What's going on Back Office Radio?" I said, "Listen, the guys brought up the fact that you were wearing that Simpsons shirt." And this is like, keep in mind, this is 4 years ago, maybe, this meeting. And her exact response was, "Ew, they remembered what I was wearing?"
Is she not familiar with men?
Well, she is. And I
Anybody
told
with
her,
those tits that buys that shirt is very familiar with men.
I said, "Honey, you can't blame them.
Or knowing what men like.
They were awesome.
They're awesome. Is she coming to the party this year?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I made sure that she's going to get something to accentuate.
How they look in post-kid? Because sometimes,
my God.
Good.
Dude, first of all, they're bigger.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah. And they're still up top.
She's not still breastfeeding, is she?
Me, but not the kid.
Seriously, for some reason, I know this is going to sound weird, but whatever. I think that's kind of hot. Like think about a chick breastfeeding, or just having milk-filled breasts or something. Did you
anything
play
with fucking food for this kid?
I know, right? Everything's hot.
Well, I can eat Cheerios whenever I want.
There he goes. There's the stomach.
Well, Will and Shuli, any breast play there?
What do you mean?
With the milk?
With each other?
With each other?
I tasted it. It was
tasted
sweet.
Direct
It's
from the
sweet.
source?
It tastes like the Frosted Flakes milk. After
I
you're done.
love the Frosted. Sometimes it's almost worse just pouring milk in the Frosted Flakes than taking all the Frosted Flakes out and then just drinking the milk.
And it's body temperature, which is nice. It's not cold milk too. Very nice.
Derek in Ontario, who is your nominee for douche of the week?
What's going on, boys?
What's up,
D-Money?
Scott DePace. Scott DePace. He's always got unfounded excuses for everything. He takes the opposite view just to argue with people. I want to punch him in the face.
All right, and
Fair enough.
Teddy, did you have a similar nominee?
Hold on, I didn't name my douche.
Oh, you didn't name your douche yet?
No.
I got confused.
I walked in here
Shuli
for
walks in
nothing?
here and just takes over the whole show.
Everything falls apart. Well, so it's Ronnie is my douche of the week, but also now because fucking Shuli says I don't take responsibility for taking a shit, I do take responsibility for taking a shit. I mean,
So you're nominating yourself?
no, I'm nominating you, motherfucker.
well, then you're not.
Shuli and Ronnie are my
Douche of the week.
And you heard it here first, guys, only on Back Office Radio, where Will takes his responsibility for his own shits. That's the kind of guy I work with. Teddy, who is your nominee? What do we got going on?
All right. Well, mine's kind of obvious. I mean, for the week, but during the wrap-up show, and everybody was kind of ganging up on Scott, he kind of thought I was making noises or comments at him when really I wasn't. I mean, I was just in the room, and anyway, we have a small clip.
Teddy, keep your comments to yourself.
So he basically threatened me and looked at me and yelled at me during the wrap-up.
That is a small clip, by the way.
So Scott, I was a little longer.
Worked all morning.
It was a little longer when I cut it.
And they called Al for help.
No.
We have a second clip. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, that was shortened, not by me.
Great job.
Great job.
But I don't know what happened to that.
All right, so Scott is one of those guys.
So Scott DePace is my
douche of the week.
Scott is definitely one of those guys that needs to be in control, and he needs to control a room. And when he can't, he will lash out, and he'll lash out at anyone he thinks he can
Everybody.
control.
He went after everybody in that room.
He used to think he could control me because I'm just a little nerdy Jewish kid and he could push around. He thinks he can control you.
You think it was the Jewish part?
Well, he called me a textbook Jew. I mean, he turned right to me. He goes, "You're a textbook Jew." And I go, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what textbook you're reading. I guess you grew up in Germany. I don't know if there was a picture in there or something." This is what to look for. The horn score.
I can't believe he said that he was right on the money.
Yeah. Right. That's what I was going to say. I mean, Jason supposedly is very offended by that, but I mean, Jason, you kind of are a textbook Jew.
It's because
nobody's looking at you and going, "That's an Asian math whiz."
It's because it came from DePace, and it's because it came at a time when we really didn't like each other. We really weren't talking. So it wasn't like busting balls or making a comment or an observation. I took it as an attack.
And when a guy isn't Jewish and he throws out the word without ish at the end,
no, he's 1/16.
Yeah, all right.
He loves to throw that in. His wife is Jewish.
Guys, real quick around the room, who's the Jewiest looking guy on our staff?
You get a vote. Who else is here?
Howard?
Certainly not Howard. No way.
Not Howard.
No.
Shuli? Shauli?
I fit more the homeless demographic.
I was going to say, more scumbag than Jewish.
Fuck, I'm going to end up winning this. It's not Scott. It's not Ronnie.
Salem? Zahi?
The ones that can really fool you. Benji does not look Jewish.
Nope.
And John Hines, certainly. He's another guy. And he tries to hide it.
And Ronnie doesn't look Jewish.
And Ronnie, too.
Can I throw one out?
Sure.
Yeah.
Lisa G.
There you go.
Lisa G.
Great. Lisa G and I are both leading the Jewy category. All right. And speaking of douche of the week.
That's the most offensive thing you've ever said about Lisa, by the way.
Hit the horn. Hit the horn.
Tim in Ohio. Welcome to Back Office Radio. Who's your nominee for? Who's your nominee for douche of the week?
Jason Kaplan. For every week now, saying something that makes me want to lose my lunch. You talked about masturbating. You talked about shitting out loaves of bread. You talked about drinking warm breast milk. So, good job of making me ill.
Tim, I have to tell you, it pains me to think I cost anybody their lunch. I can't think of any worse punishment, so I apologize. And let me get to my douche of the week nominee. And I have a story behind this one. My douche of the week thanks, Julie. My douche of the week is Gary Dell'Abate. And the reason for that is something that did not happen on air, something that happened off air Wednesday in the office. It's like, so commuting for me has been a mess since the hurricane. The PATH train in Hoboken has been shut down. I'm taking a bus. It's costing me double what it costs to go on the PATH. I'm getting to work 15 minutes later than I normally do. So, I've been stressed out these last few mornings, getting in and trying to rush everything. And right before the show starts, while I'm doing all this stuff, Gary walks out in the middle of the office and goes, "Jason, did you just fart?"
Oh, in front of girls?
In front of everybody. The interns. And I hadn't farted, and I would have admitted it if I had, but I wasn't appreciating.
It smells like an Egg McMuffin in here.
And I go, so I just turn on, I'm like, "No, I didn't fart." He goes, "I don't know, man, it really smells." And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't fart. And then Steve pointed out that John was eating like eggs or something, so that's what smelled.
So John farted.
So John farted. I think his egg smelled.
Fine. Keep it to yourself.
So Gary, I love you, but because of that incident, because you accused me of farting in front of everybody in the office, when I hadn't, I am nominating you as my
douche of the week.
One thing about that farting story.
Yeah.
I heard that Doug Goodstein,
another
Bubba.
Can we throw him on the Jewy list, by the way?
Yeah, Doug Goodstein.
Yeah.
He's back in the control room. It's a very small, it's almost like a closet with all those Howard TV guys, and he brags about farting in there.
Oh, what do you mean brags about it?
It's, let one slip.
Oh.
That's vile.
That's a defense mechanism. Well, one of the things we always like to do here on Back Office Radio is not let anything fall through the cracks. There's lots of stuff that goes on. Howard can't get to it all, and this news story ran this week that got very, very little play on the show, and we want to make sure nobody missed it. Al, let's go to our most underreported Howard 100 news story.
And now, the most overlooked Howard 100 news story of the week.
So why the loop? What's the reason for that, Doc?
Well, we're just trying to make it a smoother ride for Richard. The more friction, the more uncomfortable, and I'm just trying to dig in and get his prostate.
And I gotta tell you, I really appreciate that. Thank you. How long is this actually gonna take? Like, how long is your finger up?
After penetration, it's about 5 or 10 seconds tops.
So there's lube, penetration, 10 seconds, and you're done.
Exactly.
A lot like my marriage.
What you're hearing is real. We have obtained the audio and video from the website Break.com. Sal and Richard going to the Upper East Side of Manhattan together for Richard to receive a prostate exam.
First will be the spreading of the butt cheeks.
Alrighty. I like the sound
You do
of
that or I do it?
I will do that.
Oh, God.
Am I clean?
You're clean. Here comes the insertion.
Oh! Oh!
And I'm feeling both sides.
You sure are. I can feel it, too.
Okay. And we're all done.
Ooh, I'm not looking at that glove.
Here's some paper.
You know, we're known for prank calls, we're known for penis stunts, and now we're known for prostate checks. We're helping our fellow man out.
Well, it was great. I had my buddy there with me for moral support, and it was fine. It lasted a few seconds, and basically it felt like a guy sticking his finger up my butt.
Sal and Richard insisting this trip falls under the public service category.
Howard 100 News.
I don't know. Well, I don't even know where to start. I mean, so
what are they doing?
Sal and Richard, if you can tell from that clip, went and got the prostate check together. They filmed it for some website.
It was Richard. Richard only.
Yeah.
He's the one getting the fingers in the ass.
They filmed it for some website called Break.com, which it seems like a Howard TV bit to me. I don't know if Howard TV rejected this, and that's why they went to Break.com, but it does seem...
That's where they're taking all the rejected bits
Yeah,
from?
the Break.com.
Break.com's going to be full of content.
full of Richard's ass. If you see the video, which of course you can't see on Howard TV because for some reason we don't have it, but yeah, Richard's got his ass out, and the doctor lubes up his finger and sticks it right up his ass, and Sal's sitting there watching the whole thing from close up, and
it's crazy.
I have one note written down, which is why. I mean, just why? Why?
Well, if they can't be gay here, they have to go do it somewhere else. They're not getting enough attention from Howard, so they say, all right, we'll take this awesome show on the road.
So your most underreported Howard 100 news story of the week, Sal and Richard go to get Richard's prostate checked together, and then give the video to Break.com. That's it. That's all I got.
Why, by the way, would a doctor ever want to do that for a living?
That's what I was thinking.
Like, put their
what
fingers
doctor
in guys'
is this?
asses every
Is
day.
it really a doctor?
No, he's a doctor, I'm sure. But
I mean, there's not a doctor that just does that all day, is there? Or I guess a proctologist, but
well, yeah, I mean, the urologist I think usually does it, but you know, that's I think a lot of your job is checking old men's prostates.
Hey, we have a proctologist in the office. Give us a call 888-STERN-101. I just want to know, do you guys make more than regular doctors?
They have to,
They
right?
must, right? Because here's the deal. Like, I figure you're in medical school, and at some point you got to make a decision. You know, what road are you going to go? You're going to be a psychiatrist. You're going to be an MD. You know, what are you going to do? A podiatrist, whatever. And I would imagine that to get the ass people in school, the urology people, they must make an offer. Like, they must make it attractive somehow. Like, you'll be making 5 times the amount a regular doctor makes, or you get way more vacation, or it's got to be something in it.
Yeah, I don't know, and I like you said before, I just don't know what those guys are up to. I don't know what the end game. I don't know if they were paid for that bit or what the upside is. I guess Richard gets fingers in his ass. That's why he likes to.
Have you ever got your prostate examined?
Yeah, dude. I went into a urologist for like something else, and all of a sudden he like bends me over and puts his fingers in my ass.
Nice.
I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Wait a second. It was like you were raped.
It felt like that. And you know the weirdest thing? Have you ever had it?
No.
Like, they put a bunch of lube up your ass, so then, like, you're walking down the street like a newborn deer or something, you know, you can't, like, get your legs under you, really. It was awful. It wasn't a fun experience.
I had a really bad ass experience at the doctor when I was...
the doctor had a really bad ass experience.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what
checking
happened.
you out.
I was 14, and they were giving me a shot, or 15 maybe, and they were giving me a shot, and they were like, okay, you know, just lay on your side and pull your pants down. I was like, excuse me? Like, yeah, we got to give you this shot in the ass. It was, I don't know what my mom was there. All right, everybody was there. I wasn't being raped.
Mm-hmm.
But I pulled down the pants, and I think they wanted to do the ass. You know, they usually look for, you know, usually an ass isn't covered in hair.
Yeah.
And there was a comment.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, I've had back hair since I was... Oh, maybe
you had hair all over your ass at 14?
Maybe before, maybe 16, maybe... I don't remember what age. I was definitely teenage years.
Oh, my God.
Bring the machete, nurse. We need the bushwhack.
And I was like, oh, if I knew this was going to happen, I would have shaved, like...
At 14?
Oh, yeah.
God, so
I don't know if it was 14.
I was like that kid that, like, the last kid to have armpit hair. You remember people used to pick on
I still
people?
have 6 armpit hairs in each armpit. I'm very
like,
proud of them.
And people used to pick on you, be like the only one that hadn't gone through puberty. Jason over here, he's like, full beard at 7.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
They used to in 6th grade, they would pull or 7th grade, they pull my back hair. Like I'd be in the gym class changing, and they would just come up and yank on my back hair, my armpit hair.
See, if you were cool in high school, you could have bought beer for everybody. Like, senior year.
Yeah, I'm not cool though. So fuck everybody. I used to help people cheat on their tests. You cool?
I don't know how you didn't shoot anybody in the face.
I know the Columbine kids beat me to. That's horrible. Let's do one more nominee for douche of the week, and then we'll go out to a break. Jake in Illinois, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Turn that radio down.
Turn your radio down.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, anyway, douche of the week is Will and Scott. Scott for throwing the money down on the ground, and Will for not grabbing him by the fucking neck and putting him in the wall.
He's twice my size, sir.
Do you think you could take Scott in the fight?
Oh, my God, no. Come on.
Does he work out?
He's strong, believe me. I think the best, I said it on the wrap-up one time, but I think the best fight here would be Scott and Fred.
Ooh, no, Fred would kick his ass.
No, it would be a good fight.
But why? But Fred works out. He boxes. He's in shape.
Yeah, but Scott's strong, man.
Okay, but he might be naturally strong. But he golfs. He takes the cart, right? He's
I don't
not
know if Fred's ever been in a fight either. I mean, I know you used to fight with my brother.
Fred's 10 years older than him, isn't he? I mean,
I would put all my money on Fred. It wouldn't even be a question. All my money.
That would be a good fight. I agree with you.
That's right, Fred. I'm going to put $430 on you. All right, let's go out to a break. Give us a call, 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. Coming up, we will be talking to Tracy Millman, getting her thoughts on the Back Office this week. And Will and I and Teddy were talking about doing possibly a drinking show, and we don't know how that would go. We have a lot of reservations about it, so we'll discuss that all next, only on Howard 101.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101, where success is ridiculed and failure is celebrated. Back Office Radio with Will and Jason.
Swallow, Jason, swallow. Oh, we did it intentionally. We knew he was going to eat through the whole break. We're like, we got to get Jason with a mouthful of food. Come on.
I'm still on my knees, surfacing you, Will. You can tell me to swallow.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Hey, by the way, why don't you mention what I am eating? I'm eating sushi, right? Yeah, healthy food.
Sushi with 3 pounds of mayonnaise.
That poor whale.
It's not mayonnaise, it's spicy sauce. They don't call it... Actually, I think it is called spicy mayo. Fuck. But they have a fancy Japanese word for it.
Of course it's mayo.
Like aioli or something.
You only eat mayo.
Aioli's a nice way of saying mayonnaise.
Wait, can I show you? So I bought this at a place called Boca. And the only time I go to Boca is to get sushi. And one of the reasons I love going there is that they're one of the only places that gives out the mayonnaise packs. Oh. So I always I have a tackle drawer in my desk filled with ketchup and mustard and soy sauce. And
I'll go in there sometimes for an extra ketchup.
The mayo is to me that's the MVP of the condiment drawer because they're the hardest to find and they're the best.
There he is. There's that stomach again.
Yeah, I wasn't even out.
Nothing's more appetizing than mayo that's been in your drawer for 6 years, You don't have to refrigerate it. Nope, this one lasts.
It's mayo on mayo, by the way. He got mayo, and he's like, oh, this isn't enough mayo. Let's mayo this shit up.
It's extra mayo.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's
fucking mayo.
It's future mayo. Look at it.
Future mayo.
The mayo pack is like double the size of the ketchup pack, and it takes the entire pack to put all the chemicals and crap that's in.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's eggs from 1993.
I doubt there's real eggs in here. Hold on a second. Yeah, soybean oil, water. Oh, whole eggs. An egg yolk. Okay.
Oh,
how
extra
about that?
Disgusting.
Welcome back to Back Office Radio with Will and Jason. It's 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. And mayo is the MVP of my condiment drawer. But you and I were talking about who is the MVP of the Back Office.
Well, first, it started out that, we talked to Sarah, Tim's assistant, a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And she left. She has since gone, and she is no longer here. So a lot of people around here have been picking up the slack for Tim as his assistant. And one of those guys is Jim McClure. And we were just saying, is Jim McClure the most valuable guy here? I feel like if he left, this whole place would fall apart. Obviously, Howard is the most important person
Howard and
here.
Tim
are the most important. Both of them are the most important people.
But now everyone's fair game after that.
Right. So I think I would put Jim as the next most important person here. And you never really hear about him on the air, but he probably is.
If Jim left, I mean, the Howard Stern show would continue.
There's two categories. That's a good point. There's the Howard Stern channel, and then there's the Howard Stern show.
But 101 would be, I mean, Jim is our go-to guy. I mean, Tim's the boss, and he had the final say and everything, but Jim is the go-to guy on the ground, and he has his hand in every show. He books studios, he books guests, he gets production made, he knows everybody at Sirius, he's a hard worker. If he left, who's going to move into his spot?
Right. So we have a couple names here, other names. Al's doing our board right now.
Al, how long have you been here? Just yell, whatever.
But it's going to be 3 years soon.
Is that true? I have no sense of time.
I thought Al started like 6 months ago.
I've only been working with you guys for a little while, but I've been here 3 years total. Soon.
Well, how long have you been working with us? Who cares about other people?
When did we start doing chatter? About a year ago. About a year. Yeah.
Al has quickly, and it's just proves hard work speaks volumes. Al has quickly gone from like a nobody to like the next guy we're talking about after Jim.
Right. He's unbelievable. He's the guy. He's what Scott the engineer should be. Everything we want him to be.
Yeah. In fact, somebody, I won't say who it was because they might get mad, but somebody was saying that Scott the engineer that has the worst nickname in the world because he's really not an engineer. Right. And it's a misnomer, and everyone then thinks he's an engineer because that's his name. But Al's an actual engineer. Right? Al, are you an engineer?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I mean, you see.
So he's important to the channel, but not. I mean, we'd still move on.
All right, what about the big three in the back office? I would put that as Gary, you, and myself.
Well, I put it into two different categories.
Okay.
I put it as Gary and then Jason and Will.
Okay. Yeah. No. Obviously, but who's more valuable?
Well, Gary
to the Stern Show, but overall.
Yeah. Overall,
Monday through Friday, Howard 100 and Howard 101.
I'd say you're more valuable than the other two.
I would agree with you. Let's move on.
What, you disagree?
No, my vote's for John Hine.
I think I do a lot of
John's
work.
next on the list. Do you really believe that?
That he's valuable? Of course.
No, most valuable. Meaning that yes, I agree. Well, listen, his voice is heard 5 days a week. It's on the wrap-up show, Monday through Wednesday, and then John Hine's TV show on Thursday, and then Geek Time on Friday.
But it sounds like, let's make a clear point. We're talking now about the channel.
The channel. Yes.
Right. Because as far as the show goes, I think, Gary and I do more work for the actual Stern show. I think you do a lot more work for the channel as well as other things, the website, other things that Howard's involved in. Would you agree with that, or you think you're wrong about?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I'm up at 4 every day. I'm working for the Howard Stern show, but yeah, when we talk about when you said, you're one of the more valuable guys back there, yes, because I got my fingers in everything back here, all the different shows, all the different outside work going on, everything.
There's Mayo prints all over the place.
Mayo is everywhere. All right, I'm just gonna blow through some of these names real quick. John, Teddy already brought up.
What did you say about John? Valuable?
He's valuable as an on-air talent. Absolutely. I mean, if he left, you'd have 4 shows you have to find a new host for.
And what would you do?
I'd host all those shows.
Okay. So you'd be an easy replacement for John, is what you're saying.
Shuli, JD, any of the most valuable players?
Shuli's on every show. He's just not wanted on every one of them. Joke. I love you, Shuli. Sorry.
What about JD? If JD disappeared tomorrow,
nobody would notice.
Okay, Lieberman, who's quickly ingratiated himself into the show.
Nah, not that important. We love Lieberman, but life would go on.
Here's a real back office name: Brad Driver.
Brad Driver is an important person to this channel.
Brad
Absolutely.
Driver runs Howard 100 News.
Right.
And when I say he runs Howard 100 News, he runs it like a news organization.
He's the true Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain.
Okay, we were making fun of Scott for not being a real engineer. What about Evan Mendelbaum?
In Howard's eyes, he's the most important person here. In everybody else's eyes, not that important.
Yeah.
Although if the phones go down, he is the guy we go to.
Yeah, I'm mixed on Evan because I like Evan, and he's very helpful to me. Very helpful whenever I need anything. So he's one of those guys that when he says he's going to get something done, he gets it done.
He does.
Which is great, but no, I wouldn't put him in
Howard's in love with him, though, right? Do you think it's fair?
But here's the deal. Comparing him to Scott Salem.
Right.
Anybody.
Imagine if he knew Al. I think he'd blow Al if he actually knew him.
If he knew what Al did, Al would be the highest paid person on the show.
Yes, that's true.
And Al kind of, and this isn't, I guess it is kind of an insult, but you got the Scott look. Like, you could just slide right in. Oh, yeah?
There we go. Yep, the feet are going up on the desk.
Now he's got the real Scott Salem look.
Now he's got the look.
He's got the look.
Mind you, Al is the youngest here, so he's got a long career ahead of him.
It's funny.
Doug Goodstein.
Expendable.
Yeah, gone. Goodbye. And we called her last week on the show, the queen of the back office, because the back office simply does not run without her. And
she's already getting confrontational. Look at her.
Yeah,
she comes in here. She goes, if any of you start fucking with me, I'm getting out of here.
And I just called her the queen of the back office. I mean that in the nicest way possible, and she flipped me off.
It was a flip of love.
You gotta be delicate with Millman because it's like, if you're on her good side, it's a great place to be.
It's the best place to
be. You
be.
never want to be on that woman's bad side.
No.
Ever. I said earlier, I think I would be scared to physically fight Tracy.
That's not true.
No, I think you kick the shit out of me, honestly.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, that's why I'm saying.
Tracy's one of the only people in the world I wouldn't want to get into a verbal argument with on air. I mean, I feel I'd hold my own, but it wouldn't be it's not something I would want to do.
She's not afraid of anybody here. Like, a couple weeks ago, we were sitting in the writers' meeting. Yeah. And her and Fred were like beefing over something. And man, she just went toe to toe with that motherfucker. Like, did not back down for 1 second. Everyone else is in there like looking at their feet, it's so uncomfortable. And she's staring him in the eye like, listen, motherfucker, this is my way. And Fred backed down. He did. I'm not gonna lie.
So, and I'm going to explain a slight beef Tracy and I had last week, but let me start it by explaining exactly who she is to the audience. You might recognize her clips of Douche played on the show. One of her most famous on-air moments came when she argued with Steve Grillo on the Intern show.
She hates Douche, by the way. She's never embraced Douche.
Really? Is that true?
No,
it's so great.
It's
Tracy.
great. I love the clip, and I always do laugh, and I appreciate when Fred plays it. But how many times can I hear it before I'm like, "Fuck you"?
What do you think about when Rachel Butera does the impression?
I don't think about when Rachel Butera.
You hate it?
Yeah, kind of. I think what's his face, Sour Shoes, does me better than she does.
No, she does a great impression.
Sometimes she's on, sometimes she's not.
One of the things Grillo said that ended up upsetting Tracy, I think more later than anything, was he called her an intern wrangler, implying that all she does is handle the interns. Now Tracy does way more than just handle the interns. I mean, she's the entire office manager, which means that anything that happens in the back office goes through Tracy or Tracy's in charge of. And recently, I'd say in the last 6 months, she's been given a lot more responsibility. She's now heading up writing meetings with Fred. She's responsible for updating our Moldred and our system.
When Moldred came into effect, Tracy became, like you said, the organizer of Moldred. And it's an important job. There's a lot of shit going on, and she compiles a lot of stuff. And thank God she knows what she's doing, because she might be the only one around here that does.
And quite frankly, Fred does need to be reined in. And what I mean by that is Fred is gung-ho.
He's a creative force.
He's a creative, and he would be here 24/7, just keep, working on stuff. And
okay, just because he's not physically in the office does not mean Fred's not working 24/7.
He does work.
I get emails from him from 5 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock.
This isn't a knock on Fred at all. I'm just saying that somebody needs to go to Michael Jordan and say, "Hey, dude, it's okay, go home now. Practice is over." Yeah.
It is crazy though that Fred really just seems to be working all the time. There's never a time when he's not posting ideas on Moldred. You'll get into work at 5 o'clock in the morning. He'll have posted 4 ideas already. You're like, when did you have time to sleep? Do you have a family? What are you doing?
So last week, while we were praising Tracy or noting Tracy for coming in during the hurricane and she didn't really get any mention on air, I made a joke at the end saying I don't even know why she came in. There were no interns here, referencing the Grillo Tracy intern wrangler comment. And one of the things that does sometimes suck about being Tracy's friend is that you'll never know when you're going to step on a landmine. And so I walk off, and I got a list in my head of 500 people that are going to be angry of me for this show. Tracy was not one of them.
She wasn't on the list.
Because we did such a nice segment about her. And I walked into the back office, and I got immediately, Tracy's not shy. And I knew she was pissed. And then I get defensive because I'm just like, what the fuck? We just said nice stuff about you, and now you're angry at me. And so I get defensive, and then that's not a good way to handle any argument, and then fortunately Tracy and I are great enough friends to the next day she was just like, just it hurt my feelings, just acknowledge that, and I did, and then we moved on. Tracy, how did you see the fight last week, or whatever you want to call it?
I mean, I saw it, exactly as what you say. A lot of people don't know what I do. I don't go on the air a lot. I'm not one of those airtime hogs, and it wasn't even that I needed to thank you on air, so that's something that I want to clarify. Howard didn't even know I was here on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the show while he was on the show, how would he know? I come in after him. He never saw me. It wasn't that I needed an on-air appreciation. Oh my God, you're a great employee.
You didn't ask for it.
I didn't ask for it. But I felt like when I'm hearing Tim in the halls or whatever, when everyone's like, oh, you came in, you did a great job. Thanks today. Well, I schlepped through a fucking hurricane to be here, and no one cared.
So no one said anything in the hall to you?
No. I actually, when I was getting ready to leave on Tuesday, had to sit and listen to Tim talk to some guy from engineering about underwear for 3 minutes before I could just be like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm fucking out of here. And I just walked away, and Tim's like, oh, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, all right, tomorrow, whatever. whatever.
Not appreciated. And, that is, I think Steve Brandano is still checking his mailbox for the I Came In on Hurricane Sandy prize. It's one of those things that, I mean, it was definitely shittier for those of us who didn't show up to hear Howard, say,
I think that was the prize. You didn't get shit on.
You didn't get shit. The prize is you didn't get shit on.
Was that enough for you, Millman? You like that prize?
To not get shit on?
Yeah.
I don't get shit on.
No, it's true. She doesn't.
Well, and that brings us to the next point that we have written down here, Will, and we kind of touched on this already, but if there's one person in the office, you don't want to get on their bad side. And listen, people put me high up on that list. So
that's a good point. So if I was more worried about you or Tracy,
right,
it's not even close. Tracy,
yeah, she's fearless and she's smart and she's quick and she'll go right for your.
It's just
balls.
Not even worth it. Like if she wants to have a confrontation with me, which doesn't happen very often, we get along really well now. We've had roadblocks along the way, but
we have, like when I waited outside the bathroom and you flushed 3 times.
Yes, yeah. She was not happy about that. But I'll disagree with her. I'd rather stick my head in the toilet and say, "You're right. I'm sorry. Please flush my head. I'm sorry. This won't happen again." I'll just take my.
See, that's where I run into problems because my first instinct is to not do that. My first instinct is to get defensive and
not worth it.
But I'm the same way, and that's the problem.
Right.
Is that if somebody's going to come at me for something, I'm going to come back for you, and I'm going to come back tenfold because I'm going to make sure you don't come back
again.
It's so
funny. It's like Jason's complete MO.
And 99% of the time, Tracy and I are like best. I mean, we get along great. So but. When incidents happen, we're very similar personalities, and what happens when you get that.
And one of the great things about Tracy being like that, being so confrontational at times, and definitely having opinions on things, is she used to host a great show here.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It was like an angrier, crazier version of what we do here.
It was, and it was so unfair what happened to Tracy because Tracy is a back office person.
Absolutely.
And unlike most of us in the back office, she's not looking for even when we're not talking to her directly, she moved away from the microphone. Like she's not looking for airtime. She boots or boobs?
I thought boots. If they're boobs, they're big enough you'd see me playing with them.
Feel free to if you'd like to.
Let's keep going.
The one point I wanted to ask was...
But now I want to ask her how big her boobs are.
Really? He asked, not me.
Can we? Because they are.
Yeah, they're double Ds.
I knew it! See?
You're the same size as Lisa G.
I am the same size as Lisa.
What do you think about that?
To be honest with you, it depends on a woman's body frame. She's got a really small frame.
Millman?
Yeah.
You're going to buy into this bullshit?
Listen, I didn't see the pictures Howard took. If I saw her in a bra, I could be a better judge.
You see her every day.
Yeah, but it's not like, I'm not like you and I don't walk up to her and just stare at her breasts. Like, I actually look at her face, have a conversation. Around here, sadly, it's not, but
oh my God. And I think, Tracy, I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was over the summer. You wore some shirt where you were showing off some cleavage, and I got like flustered talking to you in the office. I kept looking down. I was just like,
is it hard being like the
only? So hot in here.
Is it hard being the only woman here?
No. Because I have bigger balls than all of you.
It's true. It is true. What are you going to say to that?
Now, what about, though, because a lot of our events are sometimes guy-oriented, like strip clubs or, I don't even know, sometimes it's just the guys hanging out. And I know, with girls, it's a double-edged sword because Tracy is an awesome person to hang out with, guy or girl. So but it's also insulting to say, like, oh, Tracy can hang like a guy, but she can. But it's also weird to bring a girl to a strip club. Do you find yourself in weird scenarios where you feel you're left out of things?
Sometimes I do. The strip clubs I don't because...
You're over it? Because you used to get angry about it.
I never got angry. That's actually... No.
Whatever you want to call it.
No. Actually, you're misunderstanding. There were some things that it would bother me that I wouldn't get invited to. The things I get invited to, I'm not uncomfortable being at. I don't have a problem going to the strip club. I mean, quite frankly, most of you like having me there because when you're done getting your dances and you just want to sit at the bar, who do you come and sit with? Me. And there's always somebody next to me.
You know what it is, though?
You're fun to party with, man.
That's true. She is a lot of fun to party with, but there's always going to be this, like, man code thing.
Right.
Where you're just never going to fully trust being in a strip club with a girl. That's not a stripper.
And I have beef with Tracy. Tracy, I told you this, so hopefully it won't start a fight.
Okay.
So
hopefully it will.
We were at Rick's Cabaret for, I already can't remember the stupid event.
It was early on.
No. This was the most recent time we were at Rick's Cabaret. Yeah. Oh, for Richie and Rachel's bachelor
wasn't
party.
Invited. Never mind.
And
I already know what this is.
So we end up on the roof deck to smoke, and the roof deck is divided up into 2 areas, and they're not, they're separated by a fucking bush, not like 2 private areas. And so we're all in one area, and then this couple comes up to the next area. And and it wasn't a stripper, it was a dude and a chick in jeans and like
hot girl?
Hot. So I'm standing there talking to high-pitched Mike Morales, and I look over and she is just dry humping him, like just dry
Sweetheart,
humping him.
it wasn't dry.
Well, exactly. So I elbow Jim and I go, and we look over, we're watching this, and they're flat out having sex, and it's awesome. And we're just sitting there, drinking our drinks and watching.
Are they making a lot of noise?
No.
You'd never know. You
all
would
of
never
a sudden,
know.
you see this white flash of light.
Oh, Jesus.
And I look over, and it's Tracy with her cell phone out giggling and taking pictures. And, of course, as soon as they see the flash...
That's breaking law.
That is breaking a man law.
Really, no, man.
And then he got up and left, and show was over.
To be honest with you, I hate my iPhone. I've never...
Do you have the pics?
I think I deleted them because you couldn't tell
yeah,
because
you
it was
couldn't tell.
so
Too
far
dark,
away.
really.
I took one with the flash and then I tried a couple
But
without
that's what
the
I'm
flash.
talking about, man. Come on.
Yeah,
That's
so-
like the unspoken rules. You don't do shit like that.
You don't do shit. Like, Jim and I weren't talking to each other. We're
So
just
wait
standing
a
there
second,
sipping
wait
our
a
beer.
second. But had the flash not gone off, you would have all been like, Tracy, you're awesome. You got pictures of this couple having
Well,
sex.
that is true.
The fact that I got busted is what you don't like, but
Okay,
you would have
that-
liked the pictures.
Well, if it had been me, too, I don't think I would have been happy about that either. But, yeah.
Tracy, and we're going to do it. We'll get to know you much better on the air as these shows go along. But right now, is there anyone you're currently fighting with in the office?
Come on, give us a
Well,
feud.
no, there's nobody, but I'll always say that DePace is a douche. I mean, that's just a given.
Hey,
Like,
Al?
What do you
I
do?
think the pace is Tracy.
Of the week.
he actually kind of is. I was in the studio talking to Fred the other day, and he comes barreling through the door. And mind you, I was standing by the door. It's my own fault. But he wailed me with it and then looked at me like I was the asshole. Like, wouldn't say excuse me, wouldn't say I'm sorry.
Oh, the
Just
door?
belted me with that 30-pound door and, like, was like, fuck you.
Did you say anything to him?
Yeah, of course. Did I
What'd you
say
say?
anything? Of course I said something.
And what did he say back? Anything?
I was like, oh, that's okay. Don't worry. I don't mind getting hit by the door. He's like, well, you shouldn't be standing there.
Such a gentleman, that guy.
Yeah.
Really. Class act.
Speaking of Scott DePace, we have Lori from Calgary, Canada on the phone, and they're telling me she's very intelligent, has a great voice, and wants to explain why Scott DePace is a moron. Lori, welcome to Back Office Radio.
guys.
Hey, Lori.
I wasn't expecting such a nice intro.
Well, you must have made quite an impact on Dan, the phone screener, because that's what he wrote.
Wow, well, I'm going to have to close the door because my 4-year-old now is yelling for me.
And now you're not on anymore.
I'm not going to win Mother of the Year. Well, first of all, I want to nominate Scott DePace.
Of course.
Douche of the Week. Listen, I can't speak for everybody in Canada, but, we do follow, of course, all American media very closely. We get a lot of our television and, HBO,
Yep.
all of that. And we do have Fox News up here, very unfortunately. And he just kind of epitomizes the typical follower of Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity. They're just full of bluster. They're full of anger. And then when it really comes down to it, they have no argument.
Right. They talk and talk and talk, but don't say anything.
Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday when he just lost it on the wrap-up show. He keeps yelling at Gary, "You're not listening to me. I've just explained it to you." He said nothing.
Right.
He said,
He said, in fact, if I remember correctly, he said, if the economy is bad, it will affect me.
Right. And, and the other thing, what kind of lesson is he teaching his kids that if Obama was reelected, you're going to have less toys? You're supposed to want to pay a little bit of taxes to live in a great nation and to get stuff out of it, like education, like roads, like bridges.
Yeah. I don't want to turn into a whole political show, but you're right. And the answer to your question is that Scott DePace is raising the next generation of douchebags.
Scott, any comment?
Show fucking blows. Show suck.
It does. Well, Tracy, thanks for giving us some of your time here on Back Office
pleasure.
Radio. We do need to go out to a break.
You don't
Al-
hate anybody here, do you?
Do I what?
We were okay after this
Are we
interview?
okay?
Yeah, we'll talk after.
Oh, Jesus. See, you can't fucking win.
kidding.
Do you
I'm
like, do you like the
kidding.
show?
Come on. I listen to it every week.
Awesome. You're the best.
I don't even listen to so many other shows because I can, especially after the show. Howard goes in and meditates and
Yeah.
our walls are
Yeah.
like paper. I don't miss this show.
What mistakes can we avoid? I know that, your show was canceled, unfortunately, because I think it was
Don't
too
be
controversial.
honest.
Don't be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we got to, real quick before, hold on for the break, because I do think Tracy was treated very unfairly in that
I'm
scenario.
trying to remember what it was again. He was shitting on Gary,
Basically,
right?
well, it was the whole thing with Gary, and I don't even want to get into it
That's
because I love
fine.
Gary, but I was given very little direction. I was told I was told to go in and get pissed off. So I went in and got pissed off, and then I was the asshole for doing it.
Right.
So
Right. You know, I mean, again, Tracy wasn't clamoring for airtime. They came to her and said, this is what we want you to do. And then she did it, and she just did it too well. Tracy, we're misunderstood sometimes.
I know.
You know, what can you do? One last question for Tracy. Toby in Cleveland, welcome to Back Office Radio. Toby?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, speak louder, take us off speakerphone or whatever, or your headset, and get your question out real quick, or I'm going to hang up.
All right, sorry about that, guys.
Thank you.
First time, long time. Tracy, damn. Sorry about that. Tracy, are you aware that Sour Shoes calls you Freckles?
I am aware that he calls me Freckles. I love that he calls me Freckles.
What are you in love with him?
I get along with Sour Shoes, and
You wouldn't date him, would you?
No, but oh God, are you kidding?
I don't
really.
Listen, he's a normal.
Would you date him?
Well, listen, I'm not saying that, but listen, he's a normal looking guy, right? He's a little kooky. You seem to like that part of his personality, so.
Yeah, I like it on the phone when he calls in the baby voice, and we call in other people like my friends and joke
But you agree
around.
he's a normal looking guy.
Oh
right?
yeah, you would never know that there was like screws loose in there by looking at him.
What's going on with your dating life, by the way?
I don't want to talk about it. It took a long time, you know that.
Yeah, you know.
All right, well, listen.
Another day.
There will be future Back Office Radios. We do need to go out to the break, but I want to remind everybody that we have a voicemail set up. If you want to leave a voicemail for us telling us what you think of the show or ourselves, please leave it. You know, nice comments are always appreciated, but we love playing the nasty, mean stuff. But don't be mean for mean.
And they don't have to be, by the way, just about us.
Right.
If you want to shit on anybody on the show, I think that would be funny.
So to call in and leave us a voicemail is 347-781-4335. That's 347-781-4335. And as we go out the break, let's listen to the voicemails we got this week.
Well, this is Mike in Illinois. You are such a bitch. I heard you on the show. I woke up and my wife said, you're not going into work today. I mean, come on, dude. It's a fucking little rain and wind, you fucking pussy. Man up, roll a pair of balls, go to fucking work.
Hey, Jason, you got caught next to lotion and tissues? Asleep? Dude, act like a real man. Just blow a load into a condom. Easy cleanup, self-lubed, done.
Hey, Jason, Will, Jerry from Detroit. Hey, Will, you know why Jason smokes before tragedies like this is because it makes them better and tolerable. Believe me, because my kid cries, I'm smoking a blunt. Anything happens, I'm getting stoned. Thanks, guys. Really love this show.
Hey, what's up, bitches? It's Steve. As you want to say, one got a lot more Will drunk stories. That drunken lush. Jay, you must be holding some good weed because I can smell it through the radio. And Teddy, nice boots, you shit kicker. Keep up the good work, guys.
I want to nominate Scott DePace as douche of the week for that bullshit with Will, how he's paid his bet. Douchebag.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. Throwing staffers under the bus since 2012. Back Office Radio with Will and Jason.
Welcome back to Back Office Radio, only on Howard 101. If you'd like to give us a call, it's 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. Will, people can follow us. They can follow me at Sirius J on Twitter, and you're at Merman78.
At Merman78.
And Teddy's at Ted Microphone. Reading some of the tweets coming in so far from Ryan, Steve Brandano, and Brian Phelan should be co-douches of the week for not voting. It's a disgrace to our society, which I don't disagree with that. I don't understand why Steve won't vote.
It's not important.
Brian's a little low class. I get that. I mean,
he
in a good way. He doesn't give a shit, right? But Steve's smart. Jason, you're my nomination for douche of the week after you made me sick with your want for breast milk, you fat fuck.
Is that enough incentive to have a kid, by the way? The sweet breast milk?
Oh, fuck kids.
Okay,
man.
good. Fuck kids.
Fuck kids, man. I don't know how the hell you do it.
Making your mother happy again, Jason.
Steve, Jesus Christ. Will, let's do some Page 69, everyone's favorite segment.
Page 69.
All right.
Why don't you start?
Well, we brought in the great Tim Sabian for this segment. He has no idea what it is.
Yeah, I can hardly wait.
I'm hoping he doesn't kill us and take us off the air.
It's nothing good. That's
it's
for
not
sure.
bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
So, Tim's
I
assistant.
be in here if it's good.
Tim's assistant.
Wait, can I just talk about what a Tim moment this is? He's on live national radio. We're talking to him, but he's still going through his email on his phone.
Right. Yeah. It's always phone all the time. So
you want to see all my? It's like, how many emails do I have?
Lots.
Yeah.
Tim's assistant Sarah left a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And they threw a big going away party for her. Somebody did.
Yes, and by the way, Tim threw his credit card down.
Did he really, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
told.
paid for everybody?
Yeah.
Up to a
You,
certain
buddy.
limit, yeah.
So that's what I mean. He's a great guy.
Great
this guy.
guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's
Let me
taking
take my coat off
He's
so I
taking
can-
his coat off right now.
Okay, go
Oh,
ahead.
a code.
So Tim gets downstairs to go to the party, and he realizes he's forgotten his jacket.
Okay, it happens to the best of us.
So what would you do, Jason?
I come back upstairs to get my jacket or suck it up and go to the party.
Exactly. What does Tim Sabian do? He goes to the closest store and he buys a brand new $300 jacket.
Where is the closest store?
It's at Superdry. It's like this
Superdry.
super cool Asian store. You know what I'm talking about? At the end of the block.
It was a cool coat too.
He comes in looking like a 20-year-old frat guy or something. Like,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Why didn't you just come up and get your jacket?
Nah, forget it. I had to go back up the elevator. It's just
There's
easier.
a whole thing.
This is a guy that says the economy is his number one issue.
Hey, and I'm pumping the economy back up. I'm the one that's making it happen.
I just, you always get the sense from Sabian. I think Tim is like really loaded because,
Oh, yeah.
he's
definitely
He was
loaded.
one of those early Infinity guys.
Yeah, got all the stock options.
Exactly.
And then we saw in your Moldred write-up that you own a bunch of radios.
No.
Oh.
Don't talk about that. Moldred's top secret.
Holy crap.
Sorry.
I'm having a heart attack.
No,
We're not
I'm
allowed to
involved in other businesses.
He's involved in
investments.
But
I have
you
investments.
just seem to have like endless supplies of money.
Well, I have investments, and I invested my money wisely, and I'm very blessed. So there.
Can we say millionaire? Multi-millionaire?
You don't have
Could
to
you
say.
afford jump?
No,
jump.com?
I'm asking. I am so now with Obama for another 4 years. I'll be so broke I won't be able to pay attention.
Well, has your taxes been raised in the last 4 years?
Oh, please. Please.
Well, they
That's all I
haven't.
do is
No,
pay-
we're not
that's all I
getting
do
into
is pay his- Don't get me started.
He's angry. You're angry, aren't you, Tim?
I am angry.
Fired up.
I am angry.
Are you Scott the Pace angry?
Huh?
Are you Scott the Pace angry? Like
No,
that
no,
kind of
no,
angry?
Is that the new jacket, by the way, you have in your hand?
This is another one. This is another one.
All right, well, that was a fun page 69. Thanks for letting us know.
Oh.
Was that bad?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I
No.
told you. We wouldn't bury you, buddy.
Tim, we love you.
Yeah,
You
I
pay
love,
us for Christ's sake.
I love the show because I sit at the edge of my chair every day and go, what the, what do I have to deal with after this 2 hours?
I know, poor Tim after the last show, I think he got 14 phone calls.
Well, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thank you,
We
Tim.
appreciate
Thanks
it,
for
man.
having me.
Hey, no problem. Thank you. And thank you again for letting us do this show. Will, I have a page 69 for you, and it involves our favorite Lisa G and a porn star.
My back.
Oh, sorry. Still got the broken ribs.
Broken rib.
Easy.
Oh, was somebody-
Teddy,
Tim,
get on mic real quick.
don't
Hold on. Because Teddy gave, what did the jacket look like? You gave a great description of it.
I don't remember. I said
Tim's
it
cool
looked like,
jacket.
yeah, it was like super cool, super, hip, like something a 19-year-old would buy in like a Billabong commercial.
Next time, Tim should just buy the Super Dry.
Yeah, right.
Just walk in there and go, just give me the storage. Just so that I'll own it. I'll operate it.
Oh,
I'm in
I love
business.
him, though. We all love
Investments.
him. He really is the greatest guy here, I think.
So he is. Alexis Ford was up here the other day. She's a porn star. She came in to rub sour shoes to see if she could make him just come by giving him a shoulder massage. And John,
By the way, Lisa G supposedly was able to complete that feat.
yeah, Lisa G touched him for like 30 seconds, and he came to completion, and Alexis Ford wasn't. And it was weird when I was talking.
Apparently, Sour Shoes has a thing for prudish women.
Well, when I was talking to Shower Shoes during the break, and I said that was pretty cool, and he said, I started thinking about how Lisa was sitting and listening to me with Alexis
He's
Ford.
full of shit.
And it got me hot. That's what he said.
I don't buy it.
Anyway, somebody overheard Lisa G in the hall telling Alexis Ford that she has, quote, turned down many offers from Playboy.
Many offers?
Well, offers, plural. I threw
Yeah.
the word many in there.
See, I heard the story, and I actually think it could be true because I think Playboy at one point did Hot Girls in Radio issue, Girls in Radio issue, and she made the cut. I could see her making the cut,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I guess so.
A couple years ago?
A couple
20 years
decades
ago?
Yeah.
Stop. We're going to be nice.
Oh, right.
Who else was in that episode? Mrs. Marconi?
Oh! DJ Mike in Ohio, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hey, what's up? My douche of the week is the whole office, but it's because the phone number 888-STERN-101 does not equal it on the dial pad, and the phone calls don't go through.
No, it's
so
88
why do they put...
Because there's an extra one at the end. The actual number is 888-783-7610, but if you hit the last one, nothing happens. Your phone call still goes through.
Not on an iPhone, it doesn't.
Well,
It says
then,
call
I don't-
cannot be-
It does.
First world problems.
I have Al the engineer says you're wrong.
Call the California DMV.
No. Why put a 1 on the end? It's like 1-800-FLOWERS.
Hang
not
up.
dialing.
Hang up
Stop.
immediately, Jason.
Yeah, enough with you.
Oh, my God.
You moron. Here, let's go to someone that we know never disappoints on the phone. Marion from Brooklyn. Welcome to Back Office Radio.
I'm eating a candy.
I understand. Don't worry about it. Finish it. It's fine.
I happen to love Jim McClure, and I do love Tim Sabian, but Jim McClure treats everybody equal, unlike Ross. When you
Oh, here
see
we
him,
go.
he comes over to you. I'm not getting into it. When he comes over to you, Ross is dead to me. When he comes over to you, he greets you. I know he's always willing to help everybody. He's the producer of all those other shows, like, the Back Office or the...
Yes. Jim is a very hard worker here, and he's a very nice guy, Marianne.
He's helping Robin, and I absolutely love him. So, and I also have a suggestion for you boys, because there's a ton of fans. I think you should do like the FMAs. At the end of the year, have one big, sort of Oscar party, and we'll pick the douches throughout the whole year. What do you think?
It sounds fun. I like parties. I like.
Are you catering it?
I hung up. I'm sorry, but I hope she caters it because she makes good food. And now, Will, Tommy from Malden
The
is on
star
the
of one
phone.
of our new bumpers.
The star of our bumper, and Tommy, you have a nominee for douche of the week.
I am?
No, I said you have a nominee
my
for douche of the
nominee.
week.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
Nominee.
Already off to a good start, Tommy.
I hate to do it, Will. I love you. I do. But I'm going to nominate you for calling me an idiot last week.
Yeah, you were so offended. He wrote me this angry tweet.
Oh, I was fucking angry, man.
Because I called you an idiot. Really? Like, that's the worst
Well-
thing you've been called in your life.
Jason, I told him that you were 10 times the man he was.
Well, that's when I stopped listening.
Literally.
Bada bing. But I'll nominate myself for getting Will mad and then getting Howard to call me a dick there when I brought up Vermin Supreme.
That's the best thing he's ever said. He's nominated himself
I was
for
going to
Douche of the
say,
Week.
you got to love Tommy for that. Tommy, thanks for nominating yourself for douche of the week. So earlier in the show, we mentioned two things. We mentioned that the Christmas party invites went out, and we mentioned that we were thinking of we have floated the idea of trying to do a drinking show for Back Office Radio one time. So let's examine these.
You mean
two.
our last show?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's examine these two connected issues here. Let's start with the Christmas party. Who will be the douche this year? And I know Howard's going to do this whole rap next week, but let's give you the Back Office
Wait, we do the
perspective.
history of the douches at the party. Last year was Benji.
Oh, Benji and Lieberman last year, I thought. Oh, no, Benji with the douche and Lieberman with the drunk.
Because Lieberman gets drunk. People get too much of a hard time for getting drunk at a party.
Yeah. No, they're the MVPs. The douches
it was Benji.
Yeah, Benji walking in like he was some Saudi Arabian oil.
No, he came in like he was Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
And Elisa was the one who thought she was the queen of the party.
And they sat at the table and didn't talk to anybody. And,
We told the story on the air, but my wife told me that she went over to say hello. We were introducing, and Elisa held out her hand, like it was because. In fairness to her, I do think she's a super cool girl, and the more I've gotten to know her, she actually is really cool. I don't know what the fuck she's doing with Benji. She's way too hot for him, but she's cool.
So I don't know who will be the douche. I mean, I think, okay, so Lieberman, we noted how drunk he got at last year's Christmas party, and then again at Richie Wilson's wedding, he was very drunk, and then the guys recorded him, and we played that on the air. Do you think he will try and curb his drinking this year, or is Lieberman the kind of guy that's going to say, fuck it, I am who I am?
Jeez. No, he'll be muzzled, but we're going to totally fight through that. My mission is to just get
feed
drunk.
him shots, right?
Not like intentionally make him do something stupid, but I like him when he's like that, so I want to hang out with him this year, and I hope he's in party mode.
We have two single guys in the office, JD and Steve Brandano, and when you're single, that means that you could bring a date.
Well, that's not true.
Actually,
because Howard doesn't want you to bring a date, but sometimes people ignore that and they just bring a girl.
Right,
anyway.
like if you're dating, you don't have to be married.
Seriously,
if you're seriously dating someone already, they're invited to the party. But the party is not a ticket, a golden ticket to find yourself a hot chick.
Right, I'm trying to remember who people who have abused that. I know Jay Thomas was one. Didn't he bring like his whole party with his whole entourage?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he brought. Yeah,
it was just really kind of obnoxious.
I don't know. If
and then lower staff people, have. There was like a hot girl that works here. And
I remember Ben Bardo brought a girl one time. She was hot. Remember that?
Yeah,
the girl
Ben's
she
day was
works
hot.
here.
Yeah, the people that work on they work in sales or something like that.
She works upstairs somewhere.
Did he brought a
we
friend
spent the entire party trying to molest her.
Yeah, and Ben's got a lot of hot girlfriends. Ben Bardo, who works at the tape team and on Geek Time, he's got that friend of his Nicole, who's a big Steelers fan.
She played on our softball team.
Yeah, he brought her to a party one year. That was hot.
I know. I never understood that because Nicole's married. Yeah. And her and Ben are always hanging out. Like if I were the husband, I'd be like, what is this? Why is this guy constantly hanging out with my wife?
Stop. Also bring up the fact that Howard's Christmas party is actually two parties.
That's right.
Yes.
There's the party when he's there.
Which is, by the way,
when he leaves.
And then there's a party that starts at 8 p.m.
Right. Well, so let's say the party starts at 7 p.m. That means Howard's there at 6:45. Like, it's not like stroll in at 8:30 and, the party starts at 7. But he's usually out by, I would say, 10 or 11.
9 or 10, yeah.
Yeah.
10.
And that's when a lot of people who are older or families, that's usually when they start rolling out. And then Teddy, they describe the mayhem that's left over.
They start trickling out. And look, this is the bit that's not really kind of explained, is we don't really know when it ends. I mean, we don't know when we're supposed to vacate.
There's no out time.
When the wait staff gets tired
Yeah,
of
the way
us.
it is, I mean, Howard's so generous, he basically bought out the place, and in New York, that could mean 2 in the morning.
No, I think Richard and Richard Christie and his wife just sat there staring at each other until 3 in the morning.
I think they're always the last 2
We're going to be the last to leave.
We're the last ones to leave.
I'll just pee right where I'm sitting.
I've never made it past 1 a.m. ever. I've never made it past.
No, it's a shit show.
It is. I was outside on the sidewalk last year with my rocks glass, just like with my drink, completely illegal in New York City. I could have gotten arrested, but I didn't. So basically what I'm saying is at the end of the second half of the night just turns into bedlam, and whoever last man standing wins.
Have you seen people, is that when people start throwing up?
I didn't witness it because again I was, gone. I may have left, but I had heard, ice buckets for vomit buckets.
There was a year I remember, did this come up on the air about how Brandano and Ganji got in each other's faces?
they got in a
Brandano
fight.
wanted to kill Ganji.
Well, because Brandano's wearing a suit, and then Ganji kept calling him Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
And cause he looked like, I guess the suit was gray with a red tie, and he kept saying that Steve looked like Pee Wee Herman, and Steve was like, this Ganji doesn't even know who I am.
Steve was getting really angry, and Ganji just kept laughing. He didn't realize that Steve was angry.
By the way, I see it's almost 1:45. I'd like to welcome a new listener to the show, Mrs. Brandano. Steve told her to tune in a little early, so she's listening to the start of the John Hein TV show, and he said he was very nervous about her tuning in too early, though, to hear us. But I'm going to assume she's a good mom. So I would assume that she tuned in a little bit early to make sure she doesn't miss her boy Steve on the John Hein TV show immediately following us at 2
Hello,
o'clock.
Mrs. B.
Hello, Mrs. B. Great cook. I was up at his house, like I said, over the summer, and she was making some chicken cutlets, and you could just tell by the way she was breading the chicken cutlets.
It's always food, Jason.
She knows what she's doing.
Stop.
Well,
Stop. 15 minutes.
But so getting back to Steve, so this was funny. Steve was asking me in the office the other day about Scott DePace's wife, Pam, who works on the Daily Show. Pam, like the spray stuff.
I knew he was going to say
A little Step Brothers reference there.
And he was asking me, he says, how, what's the dynamic with Scott and his wife? Because she works on this very liberal show.
Yeah.
And I explained to him that, just because she works on a liberal show doesn't necessarily mean she's liberal. She doesn't write for the show. She's she works in the office.
She's like a coordinating producer, I think. I don't know exactly what her title is. She gets an Emmy, I know that.
She's always very, I don't want to say cold to me, but she's certainly not looking to talk to me, probably because Scott badmouths me all the time.
She's very sweet.
I'm sure she is. I have no issue with her, but it's always awkward. Let's just put it that way. It's always awkward. I'd probably make it awkward. It's all weird because Scott and I always have an issue. So Steve said he wants to make it his mission this year at the party to get to know her and to figure out.
Does that mean he wants to fuck her?
No, he wants to figure out what her deal is and what her and Scott's deal is. Quotes.
What their deal is.
What their deal is. Well, I don't want.
They're unhappily married like the rest of us.
Here's my plan.
I'm kidding. No, he always brags about how great they get along and they have a wonderful relationship. She's a beaten woman.
My goal at Christmas party is to try and eat more shrimp and oysters than Jason.
Exactly.
But
I can never get to the back. I don't think
that's like climbing Mount Everest.
I don't think I ever got shrimp or oysters last year because I just can't make it to the back. And last but not least, did you hear of any of the interns trying to get invited to the party by using either JD or Steve or somebody else in the office?
They would definitely do it on the DL. I know JD used to pull that move all the time.
Did he ever bring an intern to the party? I can't remember.
No way. I think because they rejected him, but.
Oh, that's so funny. Let me pick up on some of the calls here. Tim in Boston, you've waited an hour to say what you're about to say.
What's that?
Oh, boy.
I'm glad it was worth the wait. Thank you.
You've been on the phone on hold for an hour, Tim. What would you like to say?
Oh, I wanted to say, don't let Tommy from Malden ever back on. He's awful. He's an awful representative of the city of Boston. He's white trash. And that's about it.
All right. Wow. Well, there you go. Larry in Chicago, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Yes. I want you to take better pictures of the naked women. Now, if you go on the website, you saw Alexis Ford, turn to the side, you can see her body and her shoes. Continue taking pictures like that.
I could tell. I know what your beef is. You want more shoes in the picture.
Just look at that picture. It's a hot picture, head and shoes, Jason.
Head and shoes.
Larry, are you a black guy? Larry.
I get the shoe thing all the time.
Wait, Larry, you a black guy?
Yes.
It seems to be something with like black eyes and feet.
Yeah.
Right? What is that, Larry?
Really big, because I like her butt. You see her butt in that picture? Just look at the picture, dude.
All right, I'll look at that picture, and but I get emails all the time. Oh, you cut off their shoes. You cut off their shoes. I'm like,
some real creeps out there.
And finally, Tony from Charlotte. Before we go to the break, who's your nominee for Douche of the Week? And we will be announcing our winner when we get back on the other side of the break.
I would like to place Kim Sabian's name in nomination for putting shows like Geek Time and Abe Cannon on the air.
Stop
what?
it.
Shut the fuck up. Geek Time's awesome and Abe's the man, you asshole. And he put Back Office Radio on the air.
That's right.
All right?
He's our hero.
Jesus Christ. The guy
I'd love Geek Time if I knew what the fuck they were talking about.
He programs the 2 most listened to channels here at Sirius XM by far.
He's a god.
He is a god. All right, coming up after the break.
Jackets instead of going upstairs.
Oh, you have no idea the money he spends. I had like 4 stories locked and loaded that I didn't even want to say because I didn't know if you get mad. 888-STERN-101. We'll be right back with our Douche of the Week winner. We'll talk about our weekend plans. Will highlight some of the guests and some of the things that are happening on the Howard Stern Show next week. Keep your channel tuned to the second greatest channel on all Sirius XM, Howard 101.
You're listening to Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. The only place John Hein isn't treated like a god. Back Office Radio with Will and Jason.
Yeah, that's right, John. I'm not going to kiss your ass.
He does have a show coming up next.
Oh, yeah.
And it's wonderful.
As soon as the music dies down, I'll plug it. So I've been, you have to plug the show when the music is off, and that way they can edit it out easier. So watch this.
Genius.
Was that not true? Ow. Wait.
Keep the music up, please.
I looked upset that I said that. Am I giving away trade secrets or something?
Were we supposed to cut it out? I just left it in. All right. Jimmy's got it.
Oh, Jimmy's got it. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
What is your... I'm so confused. Hey,
hand signals going around.
Coming up after this show, apparently, this is... I never know what I say that gets me in trouble, but apparently saying cutting out the promo with no music is 14 people came in the room.
No. He's telling me about something else.
Al's over there like Bloomberg's interpreter.
Coming up immediately after Back Office Radio here on Howard 101, the John Hein TV show. Here, John, talk about television. Ronnie will call in with some sort of weird rant, and JD will tell you what show he fast-forwarded through this week. But first, are we talking next week's highlights? Is that,
No. We're going to do Douche of the Week. We're going to announce
Douche of the Week, yeah.
our Douche of the Week.
Douche of the Week.
So,
who are the nominees again?
The nominees were you nominated
Ronnie and Shuli.
Teddy nominated Scott DePace, and I nominated Gary for accusing me of farting in front of everybody when I hadn't actually farted.
But Tracy Millman, who we have to honor today because she came in here, she also nominated Scott DePace.
And a lot of our callers nominated Scott DePace. Real quick, Jim in Phoenix, who do you nominate for Douche of the Week? Jim in Phoenix.
Scott DePace.
Scott DePace. And why is that?
First of all, for being a sore loser, the way he threw the money on the floor and was such a dick to Will. I think he deserves it just for that. But in general, just for being obnoxious, for failing to use his intelligence, and for being intellectually lazy.
Well, Jim, Well, Jim, I have a high honor for you. How about that? Now, without further ado, I can say that Scott DePace is
Douche of the Week.
And Jim, why don't you give Scott the award right to his face? Scott DePace, welcome to Back Office Radio. Thank you for calling in. Scott DePace. Hold on a second. Maybe I picked up the wrong...
That shit show with Jason fucking annoying voice?
Oh, there he is.
Scott, are you there?
Well, maybe you got to pick up the other side. Scott, you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
There he is.
I guess we're going to have one call up at a time. All right, Scott, congratulations on winning Douche of the Week.
How many times is this now?
It's at least twice.
Wait, I am proud to win, but first of all, tell Jim to suck it, because first of all, Will, why don't you tell Jim how you spit in my hand the last time?
That was a long time ago. I've matured a lot since then.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, you spit in his hand?
Yeah, at the end of the golf thing. Wait till you see this golf special. I was out of my fucking mind.
Wait, that was 6 months ago. What are you talking about? It was a long time.
I've grown up a lot since then, okay? Thank you.
Well, that's gross.
So that's that. Secondly, Will, I'd like to say your douche of the week, because I heard 5 minutes of show earlier where you're talking to Tracy, and you sound like the biggest pussy. Oh, I don't want to make Tracy scared of me. Oh.
Yeah, I'm scared of Tracy. Dude, listen to you. I've had my tongue up your ass the entire fucking show. Don't pick on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard it.
Yeah,
No,
I've been very nice to you.
That's not like you.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I've turned over a new leaf.
He's not just scared of Tracy, he's scared of you, I think, too.
So why is Teddy calling me douche of the week? Because I yelled on the wrap-up show?
Yeah.
Yes.
You yelled at me. I wasn't making comments at you.
Dude, you're a board op on that show. Sit back and play with the buttons. Don't fucking add any comments.
Oh, like you're supposed to do on Howard's show?
Hey, I didn't realize Scott was producing the
You
wrap-up.
push buttons. You push buttons for Howard's show. You shouldn't even.
Scott, you
be
gotta
on the air.
let one person at a time talk.
When I'm on Howard's show, it's because he wants me to talk, jerk off.
Okay. I wasn't talking on the wrap-up show. There was not a microphone in front of me.
Scott, you feeling any better?
They're sighing and just huffing and puffing.
No, I was actually clearing my throat, but never mind. You just needed someone to attack. Go
I
ahead.
would like to point out that is John and Gary's show. Jim McClure produces, and as long as, Teddy could do whatever he wants, as long as the three of them are fine with it.
Scotty, keep your comments to yourself.
Thank you. Scott, have you pulled your panties out of your ass yet today? Are you over the election?
No, I'm not over it yet. It's feeling a little better. I had a nice bottle of wine last night. That helped out.
What kind?
What kind?
Yeah, red, white.
You shouldn't be spending your money on wine. That money's got to go directly to Obamacare.
Obama.
Well, I'm sure once Obamacare takes hold at some point, drinking wine will be taxed because it's bad for you, right? Yeah.
Well, didn't we come up with a new rule now because Scott's won, 3 weeks in a row?
Yeah, it's getting kind of.
I don't think we can't. I don't think you can win again next week. We have to retire your number.
Yeah.
Good.
What number do you want? And then let's retire it. What number are you wearing?
What number am I
0?
wearing?
Teddy says you're wearing 0. Okay, we will retire 0. Scott DePace, for the foreseeable future, can no longer be our
douche of the week.
So, Scott, before we go, any parting words as reigning douche of the week?
Show fucking blows.
Technically, someone needs to fix the show because whenever you play a sound effect, my phone dies here.
No, you don't. When you're on the phone, you can't hear the sound effects.
Yeah, well, it's like dead air.
Black Cloud Diamond.
Someone needs to fix that. Secondly, fuck Teddy. Thirdly, I don't know, Will, what you said so far, but fuck you for some of the things you did say.
I'm still angling for that chainsaw.
For some of the things you did say on the wrap-up show. Fourth, I'm not giving you my chainsaw. Don't worry.
Come on.
And,
don't be like that. I'll give you your $100 back.
Fifth, Jason, I'm sure you're a douche for whatever reason. I don't even know. And that's all I got to say. And,
Well
we'll
said.
move on.
Well said. Thank you, Scott, for calling in and accepting your Douche of the Week award like a man. I thought I was going to get out of that shrapnel free because Scott would seem to be focusing his anger on you and Teddy, but he threw me at the end for unspecified reasons. Congratulations to Scott. Will, who's coming up on the show next week? Anyone we can talk about on the Howard Stern Show?
Roger Moore. Do you remember Roger Moore from the
fuck yeah,
James Bond movies? I think he's 95 years old now, so we'll see if he's still in fighting shape.
He's a Sir Roger Moore.
Yeah, no, but I was reading some stories about him. They're fucking nuts. Like, he got all these, his wives used to beat the shit out of him or something. It's crazy.
Like he liked that? Or?
No, I don't think he liked it. They used to throw things at him. And the other great one is the great Kid Rock will be in studio. It's been a while since we've seen him, and I know he's like an ultra-conservative. Didn't he play at like a Romney rally? He's like the only cool rocker that actually play for the conservatives.
If Ted Nugent didn't exist, Kid Rock would be the conservative rock and roll guy.
Right.
Ted Nugent's crazier and more outspoken
So
than Kid Rock.
it'll be interesting to see whether we get a Scott DePace-like tantrum out of him.
Well, Will, another episode or issue or I don't know what the fuck you call these things.
What do you call it on? You call it something weird on Geek Time.
We call it episode E
something.
E1, yeah.
Anyway, what are you doing this weekend?
Oh, well, it is my, it's going to involve food. Just so you know, I'm going out to dinner tonight for my anniversary, and then on Saturday, Janice and I are going to Italy to eat everything in Italy.
Cool.
So to celebrate. So that's our weekend. What about you, Will, real quick?
I'm just cleaning up after the storm. Teddy's moving.
Sounds like fun. Next
You're
week.
moving?
Next week.
Oh.
What happened? I
Start
love your
packing
apartment.
this place. Yeah.
Al?
He's too cool for Manhattan. It's off to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn it is.
Where the real hipsters live.
You aging hipster. Everybody, I'd like to thank everyone on the Howard Stern Show audience and Howard 101 for listening to us today. We'll be back next Thursday. Up next, John Hein TV Show. Thank you, everybody.
Peace.